whose names are not on the verified list at the moment. So which means if we are going to get our fourth quarter, in a few days' time, they might not be able to get theirs. So the Ministry of Health also made a commitment that as early as possible, they will come up with a supplementary list that will take care of the new doctors who started work, this October. And then even though we have received allocation for the first and second quarter, we still have some colleagues, who are yet to receive their allocations due to certain challenges between the Ministry of Health and the fuel station. And it's a very frustrating situation. So we also made a point that it will be good for these our colleagues who are yet to receive allocations which have been paid for already, for the ministry to ensure that within the shortest possible time they get their allocation. And more importantly, finally, we also agreed that moving forward a committee should be formed, a standing committee comprising of representatives from our association, the Ministry of Labour, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, the Office of Human Resources, and this committee will be responsible for overseeing the allocation process of the fuel and ensure that it's smooth and seek to address all challenges that will arise, with the allocation. So these were reasonable promises, and we went back as an executive and informed our membership that these were the authorities have proposed. But as has been the case in previous negotiations with government, and as standard practice, if you have a formal negotiation that is ending, it should end with formalized commitments, not just verbal commitments. So the membership was demanding that, okay, the promises are reasonable, we are in line with those promises. But however, just to be sure that the commitment is genuinely there, we will appreciate if the Ministry of Health will prepare a document, a formal document outlining all the promises that is made. And that will be a basis for us to have the assurance that indeed they are committed, just in the event that, the time that they are promised to carry out those promises elapse, we can have a document to hold them accountable as, you did promise that by this time you will do this, and the time has elapsed, you are yet to do it. So we did reply the Ministry of Health again through a letter that our membership is in line with the commitment that we made, but we respectfully appreciate if those commitments are made formal. And that has been the practice in all previous negotiations. That when it ends, there's always, it's documented, So we made that request to the ministry. And the membership was of the view that we should go ahead with the strike action and allow the ministry to come up with the documents. And then once we provide the documents, we'll call off the strike action. But as an executive, bearing in mind the kind of cordial conversation we had, the Minister of Labour was there. He said, no, we think in the interest of that goodwill and for the sake of our people who we are serving, we will suspend the strike and give the authorities at least a week for them to come up with this document. And once we have it, then we are good. We'll call off the strike.
Okay.
So sent a reply was we are here to receive the document from government. Contrary to what we have been receiving at yet, that if we don't call off the strike, if we go ahead and strike, we'll be arrested, our license will be seized. We shouldn't think, it's helping the process. And the membership is still waiting for, the Minister of Health to come back to us and let's finalize the negotiation. Right. Otherwise, they are resolved to proceed with the strike action when once the extension of the ultimatum ends on Friday.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Frank. I'll continue to stay with us. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. If you have messages, questions for Dr. Koka and all other guests we have in the studio, you have the number on your screen. Send your questions to that number. You follow us on our Facebook page, Slbc TV Live. We now go to one of our headline stories. The Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security is responsible for developing and implementing labour and social security policies and regulations. The ministry's work includes social security, occupational health and safety, industrial relations, employment, labour statistics, child labour and international labour standards. To give us a update on projects undertaken by the ministry, we have in the studios the Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security. He is Mohammed El-Mansour. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, you have so many areas where you operate, and we've just outlined. So it has to do with occupational health and safety, industrial relations, and I'm sure you have been undertaking projects within your area. So you want to give us update this morning, how far you've got and some of the projects you've undertaken so far.
Yeah, so since I took over the leadership of ministry, I have embarked on many things. Having been a direct public servant and somebody from the private sector, I have been well aware of many of the challenges that employees face across the country. So I wanted to confirm. The Americans say trust but verify. So I have been to many factories. A factory, for the purpose of this conversation, is any place where people work. There's an employment outfit. I've been to those places. I've familiarized myself with the realities of the working conditions of Sierra Leoneans. I've spoken to them. I've done inspections. Virtually, I've been to them every regional headquarters. I've not been to a few districts, but I have got to go to every place. I'll put boots on the ground every place. Apart from that, we have also, during these visits, we have addressed issues around industrial relations. We have addressed issues around compliance with labor laws, including Factories Act 74, including compliance with the Employment Act of 2023, Work Permit Act, including NACIT, and multiple other concerns that fall within the remit of my ministry. Right? We have also dealt with issues around labor migration. In recent times, that's become the big thing, particularly of Sierra Leoneans crime all over the world, calling for attention. So we have had issues dealing with all of these things. Yes. So I have been able, just last week, my team broke down an organized crime ring, arrested 42 people. They worked in consonance with TOCO, that's a trans organized crime unit. They worked with the CID. They were able to apprehend, this was a very organized crime syndicate that did people, that pulled all over the eyes of unsuspecting members of the public, in the hope that they will help them travel abroad, right? So they arrested 42, then they have been processed by the CID. They might be charged as per law. We have also been addressing issues around child labor. So, working in consonance with the International Organization for Migration, efforts are now being made to repatriate about 200 Sierra Leoneans from Lebanon. Most of them were undocumented when they were going abroad. They did not know. They did not go to private employment agencies like we have there. Many went on their own. But bottom line, these are Sierra Leoneans. When the chips are down, they fall back on government. Papa government, we didn't have the treat we so. But when they are living, they don't listen to our government in spite of loud clarion calls. Don't use illegal migration pathways. They are safe, dignified, and legal migration pathways. We have licensed about 23 recruitment agencies that provide opportunities for Sierra Leoneans who wish to travel abroad. Right? These are certified by government and they operate within, predictable parameters. But still that has been difficult to sink in, right? Okay.
So, Mr. Minister, according to you, you are aware of the challenges faced by people in their different workplaces. And in recent times, there is a matter, the High Court of Sierra Leone, that the Slbc is following, where a worker of EDSA also had issues with the office. He was working and then he had some issues, he had some damages. wise on site. And this issue has now gone to the High Court of Sierra Leone, where EDSA is now saying, initially they said he was a worker, and because of the way the matter is going, they have now decided to say he was not a worker, he was just a volunteer or so. Have you been following such issues?
Well, I do follow a lot of newspaper reports. Let me say, in June this year, while I was at ILO, I read a newspaper report about a fatality at the port. I immediately swung into action, mobilized my team. They went there. They were able to do the necessary interventions. We intervened for a couple of reasons. One, my team goes down there to do a risk assessment. They profile the jobs, which ones are risky with the likelihood that there might be an accident, an incident, or a fatality. So they advise management for remedial measures. So that team went down there. But since there was a fatality, they investigated the circumstances of the fatality. They worked with the police to do that. At the end of the day, we worked with we were able to determine the compensation as per law and ensure that that family was paid. In fact, we encourage the employers to go over and above just to ensure that that family was well compensated. Even though you don't compensate for life, but we made sure that available remedies within the law were served to their advantage, right? The employers themselves also fail to do a few things, because every workplace, including Slbc here where I sit, you have a reporting responsibility. If there's an accident, there is an incident here, you should report to the ministry. But sadly enough, over time, they don't do it. We have to go there to be able to discover that. And the ministry is very thin on ground. I'm pleased to note that after 15 or so years, they say, of requests and no responses, we have been able to get concurrence, and we might soon begin the recruitment process to get more people so that we can have more boots on ground in virtually every district, every region, particularly with high profile employers, so that we get to know real-time information. Right, because for the most part we play second fiddle, where playing catch up.
Mr. Minister, are you aware that some people are also afraid of reporting to certain institutions, for example your ministry or even the ombudsman's office, because of intimidation they face in their office? Because most of the times when you report, maybe the institution where the report is made, they will come back to the leader, to the head of that institution, and then they will have to say, this is what she said, and that person is not behaving the way she is supposed to behave. And at the end of the day, they will tell you insubordination and all this. Are you aware of that? That's the reason why people are not safe to report to some of your organizations, because of sometimes either political connection, because of the leaders of this institution.
Well, I like to deal with the political connections. I mean, the president who appointed me gave me clear marching orders. Go out there and ensure that the lot of the Sierra Leonean employees is improved. And I also spoke to him, look, it's going to require a lot of enforcement, it's going to require a lot of compliance actions. You have my fullest support. So I am banking on that to ensure that I do the right things. And no employee should feel intimidated. I want to assure them, it's in the constitution, you should have freedom of speech. There's also the right of freedom of association. And all of these are also enshrined in the employment and various other acts that govern the workplace, right? When, I've been to these places, and I'm pleased to note that employees have spoken out boldly, fiercely, some on tape, on video, that's all over the place. I have not had one report of intimidation. Yes, there are a few challenges with Koiru, but that's a different kettle of fish. We will deal with that at the appropriate
moment. You are talking about factories and bigger companies. Well, have you also been paying attention to institutions under government? For example, I'm just citing the Slbc, you have other institutions where people are suffering inside because they are fear of losing their job.
My greatest disappointment will be for educated people who decide to keep quiet in the face of tyranny and misadministration. That is a shame. That person, whoever does that, it's probably not worth the salt. If you think you deserve the job and there are rights and other violations, you should speak up. You should speak up. My office, we have had several such complaints and we have dealt with many successfully, right? because some of them will have quite a deluge of backlog matters to deal with. You cannot solve all of this kum fire kum, but we are committed. Yeah, my team is fired up. We are quite rekindled to be able to resolve some of these problems. So I say to employees out there who are listening, employers out there and employees should not intimidate anybody for drawing attention to labor rights violations. I mean, that is in itself an offense under the law. To employees, they should feel free to speak up because these are rights given to them both by the Constitution and by the various labor laws, including the Employment Act of 2023. So they should not shy away. I know there are a lot of violations in government. I know that. I know Slbc pays a lot of people very badly, you know. So I know some people have volunteered here for the longest time, and that's criminal. Nobody should volunteer for that long. Nobody should be casualized for that long. It's in the Employment Act. But we cannot know these things if nobody brings them to our attention. But the other point is, sadly enough, many of the leaders themselves are not quite conversant with the law, with the provisions of the law. So probably that's an opportunity for us as a ministry to go out there and make leaders of MDAs conversant with the key provisions, key and critical provisions of the law. I'm quite pleased that some actually reach out, right? And in the past we have organized quite a couple of workshops. We're going to continue to do that. We're taking the provisions of the labor laws to heads of MDAs, to employees, because employees themselves, sadly enough, do not even know their rights under the law. They don't read. You know, somebody once said, if you want to conceal anything from the average employee, put it in the book, put it in writing. The private sector reads, but many government employees who grumble, they don't even understand their rights under the law. Not so? You don't have to answer me. Well, yeah, you don't have to answer me. But this is tried and tested opinion I'm sharing here.
Yeah, Mr. Minister. Well, let's talk about labor migration, which is one of the trending issues currently. You know, the youth population of Sierra Leone is currently faced with. Have you developed some, let me say, policies to guide these processes to send people out there to, you know, work overseas? If yes, how progressive are these policies to meet the current challenges?
Okay, so first off, Sierra Leone is a champion country we are one of nine countries in West Africa that are championing the Global Compact on Labor Migration. Okay, we also co-chair one of the committees. So yes, we did not become a champion country for nothing. It's because we are taking some of the right practical steps. We are currently reviewing the labor migration policy, which has been in existence since 2017. That is now being reviewed to ensure that it speaks to current and emerging challenges. That's with support from the IOM. We are doing a lot of things in that regard. We have organized workshops and conferences, and on the 26th of this month we'll be having a big round of conference to bring stakeholders together to get them to speed on the current status of labor migration in the country, right? We also want to mobilize them to be able to support efforts we're making in that direction. Already you are aware, I just mentioned to you, efforts are in advanced stages to repatriate Sierra Leoneans in Niger. Quite a large number there, close to 1,000. You have others in Lebanon that will also be coming home. So we want to see how we can mobilize support to help their reintegration once they return home. Because you know, for these people are coming literally clapping, you know, the circumstances in which they are being repatriated. So we have all of those challenges. So there are laws, yes, there's the Labor Migration Act 2023, right? And there are policies around this. We have registered 23 private recruitment agencies that have clear operational guidelines within which they must not veer if they do their clear penalty provisions. So that is why we encourage Sierra Leoneans use the straight and narrow path. There are recruitment agencies. If you want to migrate abroad for the purposes of labor, use one of these agencies because we can control them. We cannot control backyard faceless operatives that we don't even know. They can only dupe you.
So, Mr. Minister, the question that I always ask myself is how beneficial as this particular labor migration, this particular makeup that you did now, let me say registry or recognizing 23 employment agencies that take people from Sierra Leone, send them abroad to work. How beneficial has this arrangement been for Sierra Leone itself, the country?
Okay, because I'm on public television, I'm going to answer this. But I'm going to start with a hypothetical question. How does Sierra Leone benefit from your working here? The country benefits. You are one person that works here. I don't know if you are paid minimum wage or above that, but the country still benefits because I will assume you pay taxes, right? I will assume you have a family to look after. I'll also assume you pay social security contributions amongst other things. And even the social have money that you contribute to. Because you come to work, that's why you are probably not in rehab doing push and other things, right? So those who migrate abroad for the purposes of labor, they do remittances. So they have families that they look after. They look after families, right? Some of them send even investment income here. You have a lot of other countries have tracked how much they receive from the Sierra Leonean diaspora. I don't have those figures as I sit here. But I spoke to a Kenyan counterpart who told me they now make more money from labor migration than even tourism. But we have to have those figures to be able to speak here authoritatively. So labor migration, we're all over the world. The Philippines is one of their major earners. In Kenya, it's about, that's how much it contributes. So Sierra Leone might not be in that league of a big contributor, but we're also getting a lot of benefits from labor migration.
Okay, Mr.
Those who have migrated abroad, they don't join strikes here.
Okay.
Yeah, they send school fees for the beginning. Not so, they send job money, so they do support small businesses. So tell me that question you have been asking yourself. You have now asked me, and I will pass it.
All right, quickly before we go for a short break, Mr. Minister, let's talk about work permits. Sierra Leone is one country where I don't know, maybe I have the wrong perception. When you go to other countries, work permits, they don't joke with it. I don't know how far you've gone in making sure that every person coming into Sierra Leone to work who is not a Sierra Leonean should get the work permit.
Well, so you are right. It's a very serious business. Unfortunately, as a country, we have not treated this matter very seriously in the past. Again, like I mentioned to you, the Ministry of Labour is so short-staffed. Yeah, we should, for example, have people at all border crossing points. We do not even have enough at headquarters. But I am pleased, like I mentioned in the beginning, to note that we have had concurrence. We've gone through the processes. We will advertise in coming days for quite a large number of staff. So once we do that, and we're also digitalizing the work permit process, we're in very advanced stages. Once we do that, I'm sure the story will be different.
Right.
When I took over, we were paying Sierra Leoneans work permit. The work permit fee for work permit was 6,500 leones, and that's the biggest joke I've ever seen anywhere in the world. In Liberia, where I worked as an expert for 2 years, from 2010 to 2012, as an ECOWAS national, I paid $1,000. That was what my employers paid for me as work permit. Coming here 12 years after, it was 6,500. That is the biggest joke I've seen. We have tried to up it. We did in my first year. We increased it a little, but I think we have to be the average. We have to implement the regional average. In Guinea, I'm told it's around 4,000. Many other places. Well, that will be, whatever changes we intend to do will be reflected in the finance.
All right, thank you very much. He is Minister of Labour and Social Security, and he is Mohamed Manswale. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. We now go for a short commercial break. Good Morning Sierra Leone continues.
Mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Inkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Inkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Inkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
Welcome back. The program is Good Morning, Sierra Leone, and we still have the Minister of Labour and Social Security in the studio. We also have Dr. Freddie Coker from the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Services Association. Sorry, so Emmanuel, we now go to another issue.
Yes, so another story. First, the Ministry of Health in a press release announced its partnership with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology to implement $24 million project aimed at transforming the National Rehabilitation Center and strengthening rehabilitation services in Sierra Leone. The landmark initiative will enhance NRC's operations in 6 critical areas, including data and clinic management, education and training, supply chain improvement, infrastructure development, among others. However, the ongoing illegal occupation of the NRC premises has created significant challenges to the project implementation. Ismaila Kebi is the program's manager, National Rehabilitation Program. He is with us in the studio. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning, Sierra.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
So, before going to the money that you just had to implement this type of project, I want you to tell viewers, where is this particular area? Where can people say
The
this
NRC.
is the NRC's property that illegal occupants are now causing problem for you or preventing you guys to implement the project?
So yes, thank you very much. So the NRC, which is National Rehabilitation Center, previously known as the Limb Fitting Center, and it's located at Aberdeen Road, where you have the new market located at, that's by Morigan School. So previously, this place actually has existed since the 50s, 60s. You know, previously it was a health facility, and then after the war, it was then used as a place where amputees were camped to be given treatment or rehabilitated. You know, and even when the first cholera outbreak occurred, that's where patients were treated. You know, so that gives you a background of how long that place has existed. You know, but for some time ago, when the old market was, people were moved from the old market. So they pleaded to the president, the former president, President Kaba, for them to be given a portion of that land, which they can use as a market place, you know. But then you know how the situation is in Sierra Leone. Once a market is given to people, they tend to extend it further. You know, so that's what they've been doing, and they've been really moving inwards to occupying a series of a good portion of the land, which is meant for rehabilitation services. So,
Mr. Kebi, now, you know, this particular project is coming at a time when we have drug, abuse is on the rampant in this country, and you had this project, and this set of people are now preventing you guys from implementing it and establishing a center with state-of-the-art equipment, and you are yet to remove them from that place. What are some of the bottlenecks that is preventing you guys from taking action? Because the place belongs to government.
So yeah, so as you rightly said, the place belongs to the government, but we are talking about Sierra Leoneans. So what we've done as ministry is we have like series of engagements with the ministry, with the stakeholders, like 4 engagements, stakeholders engagement with them, try to let them understand the importance of this particular project that is coming up. And we're talking about state-of-the-art thing that every Sierra Leonean can benefit from. But each time we have this engagement with them, they will agree to leave. They all agree that it's a very good project, and they will agree to leave, but then they don't. So, and as a ministry, we really want people to understand the importance of this, and because once the ministry starts taking action, they will then go back to the social media. We have human rights activists that will come back and say, you've done X, Y, and Z to people. But we are talking about $24 million here. And so it's time for us as a ministry to really move in hard on them.
So, Mr. Kebi, first of all, who are these people? And I just want to bring in a scenario where it's almost the same situation with what you are facing. When the government had wanted to construct, what's the name of this hospital? Lonely Hospital. Yes, that was the same situation, but the honorable in that area, in that community, and other stakeholders, they took the bull by the horn. And at the end of the day, every Sierra Leonean today, if not you directly, but you must have a relative who is benefiting from that structure. This has to do with development. If you say we are going to wait, you're going to keep pampering these people, don't you think the project, there will be a time when even those that are helping you to form this project will get tired?
Yes, you're right, and that's where we're getting to, so, but, there are, for everything, there are processes. So, and we've as a ministry, we've gone through all the processes as it is right now, and it's time for us to really move in hard, as you're saying right now, take the bull by the horn, and that is what we are arriving at right now. And it's good that we have been host here on this particular show here, for the people to understand what is coming up.
So, who are these people?
So we are talking about traders, and like timber sellers and market women. Those are the ones we are talking about here.
So and when you went there, because I know some of them will be certain resistance because maybe they exist to say that blind man when you see the stone, is either a master stone or a holy stone. So maybe they will put such a resistance because maybe they will say they have certain papers to claim the land. Is it the situation there?
Yeah, so that particular issue also came up. So most of them are saying that they own the place, they are paying dues to tax to city council, so they are entitled to that particular place. But then as a ministry, we have taken our position right now, and this is a way of informing people that as a ministry we have taken position and we cannot afford to actually lose that $24 million.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kebi. Continue to stay with us. We continue the program. We now go back to you, Dr. Koka. You have your members, they are looking up to you. So might feel because of you want to actually go with the gentleman's agreement with government and other stakeholders. Some might have a feeling that you betrayed their confidence. Don't you think so?
I don't think they will feel that way. I believe they are frustrated, to be honest with you, because this fuel issue has been going on for several months, and the general membership made up of many very young doctors. 70% of our colleagues are young people who finished medical school a few years ago. And this fuel means a lot to them. It means a lot to them. So they had been very frustrated, and they had wanted us to go on a strike action a couple of months ago. But then, as an executive, as a leader, you have to be more rational. You have to look at the bigger picture, think about the people. So I've been trying to talk to them, postponing what they want to do, with the hope that the Ministry of Health will actually see reason for us to have a resolution for this issue. Yes, but I must say, unfortunately, we have not got the feedback that we're expecting from them. We feel like where we are today should have been presented or could have been presented. And after talking to the membership on Saturday, they were understanding. They felt like giving 1 more week is reasonable, provided we have the documents that we are requesting for. But I must say to date, they have been a bit disappointed that we have been unable to get the documents. And we don't understand why it's not.
So, Doctor, what do you think will happen if at the end of the 7 days, nothing that you are expecting from government and other stakeholders fails to happen?
Yes, so the resolution is clear. The membership agreed that it will proceed with its strike action. I mean, if the 7 days expire and we don't have any feedback from government.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Continue to stay with us. We'll still go back to the Minister of Labour to continue to tell us about some of the projects they have been undertaking.
And these issues of the doctors
also fall under
his purview. Mr. Minister, you heard from Dr. Freddy Cooker here, sitting here, and their own sector is very critical to the health and well-being of citizens of this country. So imagine if they go on strike, what will happen to people? So what has been your own role there to ensure that the Ministry of Health bring out this type of important document, to ensure that these doctors continue with their daily routine?
So let me look at Dr. Coker straight in the face and say this. At the conciliation meeting we had recently, I told them that they probably misdirected, the concerns. That is the Ministry of Labour that has the expertise, the manpower, and the experience to resolve industrial labor relations issues. But they were dealing with their parent ministry. I can understand that, no issues with that. But we now have reached an understanding that going forward, who will be brought in early enough so that we can use all the whatever we have at our disposal to help amicably resolve it without threats of a strike action and all of this. And we have been able to do that in many instances. So as part of this team that had the last set of discussions with them, we laid bare and clear the current economic situation to them, of which they are themselves not unaware. But what came out very clearly was that government was very committed to ensuring that we support them to get their just rewards, to get their deals. I mean, it's for that reason that they are talking about third and fourth quarter now. Many of the ministries are not talking about that right now. So they are way ahead of the rest of them. That is in view of the fact that we recognize their importance, the key role they play in the national development efforts, right? So yes, they're talking about a new document. I read your response yesterday. That was the last letter I read before I left office yesterday. It was quite bare and knuckle. It was quite. I've read the two responses, pretty strong from the ministry and from your good selves. So we will come in. In the meantime, I will just say, let us hold that fire. The government is very committed to doing this. I mean, I don't think that the issues that divide us right now are so fundamental that they cannot be resolved, Dr. Coker. And there's a lot of goodwill in the room to ensure that we amicably resolve these matters without any disruption of services.
And how soon?
And how soon? Because there's not enough time from now to Friday.
From here, Dr. Coker and I are going to my office.
All right.
If he's so conceived to do that.
Okay.
Right? Yes, but I'm sure he's for an all-out solution. So from here, we'll go to the office and we will see how we can amicably resolve this matter.
Okay, so
I don't think they are quite an issue that you cannot resolve. They are not.
Okay, now let's talk about child labor, which is also another concern.
Yeah.
It's also another topical issue in Sierra Leone, well, not only in Sierra Leone, but in the sub-region. But let's talk about your own country, where you are in charge. Let's talk about child labor. What's the status?
But first, let us accept that a lot of efforts have been made by this government to address the issues of child labor. Through His Excellency President Julius Malabio's Human Capital Development agenda, we have taken many kids off school. You remember that? Many kids who would otherwise have been on the streets, who would otherwise be stone mining, who would otherwise be doing laborious jobs meant for adults, are currently in school. So those ones have been taken off. In addition to that, they supply school meals, free school meals in many communities around the country. So because of that, I was incentivized to go to school because of free school meals back then. So I'm sure there are many kids like me who are lured to school and to stay on because they get free school meals. So that's the happening. Very recently we had a high power delegation from the US State Department. They came to visit and to commend the efforts we have made. They are however concerned that there have been no prosecutions and convictions for people who are aiding and abetting child labor. So that's quite an issue we have. For now we have the red, but we have laws, very strong laws in place. That's something it's going to take all of us to address, right? Many have argued that it's poverty, but that's a debate for another day, right? But the most prevalent areas where this is found are mining, sand mining, small businesses, commercial sex work, and all of this. Yeah. So, but these issues are the ones who can tackle, who will tackle. The rest is for society to tackle. And we urge each and everyone listening to me or watching me to play their own part to ensure that we address this nagging problem of child labor.
So, with all the good work that you are doing, if you cannot achieve people trying to prosecute to make sure that those who are involved in if they cannot, you cannot get there, then at the end of the day, all the good jobs you've been doing will not be relevant, don't you think so?
Okay, I hear you. It's a concern. I hear you. It's noted.
So what are you doing in
It's noted for consideration by my team and I.
Okay,
so by way of an update, I've always mentioned to His Excellency is pretty concerned about the welfare of Sierra Leonean employees. Wise efforts have been made to create 500,000 jobs in the next 5 years, from now to 2028. We also want to ensure that those who are in employment enjoy all the benefits and trappings of a decent job, as defined by the ILO. So we are convening the GNNB, that's the Joint National Negotiating Board. On Thursday this week, we will bring together all stakeholders, including the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Employers Federation, Ministry of Finance, and our good selves chairing, to see how we can discuss an improvement of the current minimum wage. To her credit, government had in the past increased the minimum wage to 1,000 euros for those in government employment. But that is not the minimum wage. That was government's goodwill to address the rising cost of living. But the minimum wage can only be reached when the GNNB meets and will take a decision. Okay, so I'm chairing that conversation on Thursday. All indications are that some move will be made.
Okay.
So that's in itself potential for good news, because this government cares. We understand. We listen to the ground. We listen to the market.
So even though you just said it is a good news, but plenty of people will wait to see the implementation of it, because especially for the public sector, for us the public sector workers, it will be implemented. But when you go to those private people, that is where the bottleneck lies. Instead of them to go to the minimum wage, they will instead don't go there.
But this is because people like the media, civil society are not shining a light on those fair labor practices. Shine a light on it, draw attention to it, and ensure we act. We will act once we know about it. We don't have a magic wand to know where abuses are happening. We rely on people, right, to speak up and speak out, to give us leads. They will follow the lead wherever it leads to.
So, Mr. Minister, I just want to bring your attention to one of the issues being discussed on the media currently. Yeah. It has to do with the teachers, the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. Yesterday we had the the Secretary or the Deputy Secretary General
Assistant.
He was there, and they are now convening a nationwide meeting to get their members because of the non-availability of the school fee subsidies. For last year, they've not received the last term of last school, the last academic year, and this is a new academic year. And according to them, they can't continue to work if that money is not provided. Are you also aware of this?
Definitely. I mean, that's pretty regrettable, but the good news is those subsidies are now being paid. They were late, they are now being paid. I'm also aware that the Minister for Basic and Senior Secondary Education have been having discussions with the Slbc to impress on them the efforts government is making to resolve this matter and urging them to be a little patient with us. After all, this is government's flagship project, right? We have committed a lot of resources to it and we want them to bear fruit. The only way they will bear fruit is when you have a highly motivated workforce, is when subsidies are paid. We are aware of all of that. And the Ministry of Finance is quite alive and awake to that.
Okay, so
yes, but we are talking about all of this in the context of very, very challenging economic moments.
Okay, so thank you very much. It is Mohammed Ramanswai, the Minister of Labour and Social Security. But we still have Ismaila Kebi in the studio from the Ministry of Health. This project, can you please just break it down, some of the components that are within this project, because this project is about to, when you say re-establish the National Rehabilitation Center, something that has died down many years ago.
So as you rightly said, the National Rehabilitation Center we are really struggling, so this is an opportunity for us to give life to the National Rehabilitation Center. So the key areas that we are looking at here is data. So the MIT is helping us come with very good data collection tools and instruments that we can use to collect data, which will help us in planning accurately for us to be able to provide good services for our people. And the other aspect is the training, education. So we've started the training. We've gone 1 year into the training now, and we are using like 2 locations, one in Freetown at the National Rehabilitation Center and Bo. So we have 16 students. We started with 16, but we have now narrowed them down to 10. And the infrastructure is another aspect. We didn't have a very good infrastructure, but we're now building on the infrastructure gradually. But we need that space to expand and make sure that we have a state-of-art infrastructure for the provision of prosthetic services and rehabilitation services. The other aspect is the supply chain. Most of the materials that we use in Sierra Leone to manufacture prosthetic devices. So when I say prosthetic device, they are false limbs and that people with amputation use. So most of those materials that are used are imported. So MIT is helping us to bring in those materials on the ground. And after that, the training, we will now want to bring in new technology. So the individual that is heading this particular project, Professor Hart, is a double amputee. So he's using prosthetics, and it's a bionic prosthetics that he's using, which is a very powerful, good one, state-of-the-art kind of prosthetics that he's using. And at the end, we want to make sure that we bring in a mobile clinic as a vehicle, a specialized vehicle that will be reaching out to remote areas. So these are all the things that we're coming out with in the package.
So, Mr. Kabi, someone out there may be curious or might be curious to know the set of people that this particular center will be catering for.
So we are talking about persons with disability and people that suffer from different health conditions that may lead to disability. Say, for example, we're talking about stroke, amputation. Nowadays, we have a lot of people with diabetes, and most of these diabetic cases lead to amputation. And we're having road traffic accidents. So all of these people that we're going to take care of. And we know that the burden is increasing. Now we have so many cases of non-communicable diseases that lead to disability. So with this particular establishment, it's going to help to make sure that we provide those services and bring people back to give people their normal lives.
So Mr. Kepi, yesterday the stroke victims, they were here, they celebrated, they commemorated the World Stroke Day, and they were talking a host of the challenges that people that have stroke are undergoing. And one of the challenges that they mentioned is, access to medical facilities. So the erection or the rehabilitation of this center, will it be an answer to that question or an answer to the challenges that they have been faced?
Of course. In fact, the very gentleman that was here, that was hosted here, has been benefiting from our services.
He said
so we give them the necessary devices that they need to make sure that they participate in their normal activities, daily activities. So they will definitely benefit from our services.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kepi. Continue to stay with us. And the program is Good Morning Sierra Leone. It's now time for us to give you the front pages of our local newspapers. And for that, Emmanuel, we start.
Yes, I start. The first newspaper here is the Independent Observer newspaper. And it starts with a banner headline, Mr. President, can we talk? Part 36. This I think is an episode something. ACC indicts EcoBank and 3 others. FBC lecturer bags Oxford University award. The face of the lecturer is there. And these stories and more you can find in the Independent Observer newspaper.
All right, my first take for today's review of the front pages of our local newspaper is the Awoko newspaper, and it opens with a banner headline: Standards Bureau introduces new measuring cups for local commodities. Another story on the front page of the Awoko newspaper is ICASL investigation vindicates Auditor General. Citizens Tribunal criticizes Tribunal process. I think I should go over this again. ICASL investigation vindicates Auditor General, criticizes Tribunal processes. You see the photo of the former Auditor General, Madam Latilo Piaz, and also another story on the front page of the Awoko is onion imports up by 10% in 2024. These stories plus more, including local sports, you find on the Awoko newspaper.
Well, the next one here is the Bremen News newspaper, and it says ICASL clears Auditor General and Deputy of misconduct. The photo of the Auditor General is there. Doctors to protest. And the other one is corruption. ACC indicts EcoBank and 3 others. Slacab hosts business training to support Feed Salon program. These stories and more you can find in the Bremen News newspaper.
And my final take for today is the Standard Times newspaper. It opens with a banner headline: alarming, over 45,000 Mpox cases. This is according to the Africa CDC. When you see the photo of the Director General of Africa CDC, and another story, it has to do 500,000 Olio's renovation project for Pujem APC office launched. You see the photo of Omrigoli, yes, Ambassador Omrigoli, and also the final story on the front page of the newspaper of the Standard Times newspaper is NSA promotes gender parity as 3 females depart for China. The stories including local and international sports. For those of you who are still interested in the story of Erik ten Hag and sacked as the manager of Manchester United,
best news.
You go out for this newspaper and also the Ballon d'Or, the controversies you find in the Standard Times newspaper. But we must inform you that the views we've just read from this newspaper are not the views of the SLPC. They are merely reviewing what is on the front pages of this paper. We continue with the program. Good morning, Sierra Leone. And quickly we go back to you, Doctor. So, what next?
Yeah, so we are waiting for the Ministry of Health to respond to us before Friday, and we hope that will happen. You know, I'm happy the Honorable Minister of Labour is here, and we hope they will help facilitate our process. As I mentioned earlier on, our position is very simple, very clear, very vocal. We sent a communication to the Ministry of Health that the association gives them till Friday for them to come up with a document concerning the commitment they made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in 30 seconds, Mr. Minister, what will be your parting shots to viewers out there?
So I would say to anybody watching me or listening to me, we have problems. Yes, we agree, but we can only solve them if we bring them to our attention. There are a lot of compliance issues, a lot of abuses, a lot of infractions of the law. We will not know every one of these things if our attention is not drawn to them. So we want it to be good citizens. We want it to be good employees. I will call on employers to be good employers. I mean, we know these are challenging times. That is why we will continue to create the necessary enabling environment so that these employers will continue to stay in business, they will continue to thrive, employ more Sierra-Leoneans, pay more taxes, pay more social security. And on the party notes, I'd like to inform members of the public that through NACIT, we are in advanced stages to extend coverage to the informal sector. You know, the formal NACIT, as we know it today, caters for only about 9% of the population. The vast majority of the people are in informal sector jobs, and so working with the International Labour Organization, working with the World Bank, NACIT, and some other interested parties, UN agencies, we have received we have taken all the preliminary steps, including actual evaluation of the schemes, willingness to pay, and all of this. So, as expected, in the first quarter of the year, we will begin to embark on the pilot scheme. For that, I want to commend the efforts of the leadership of NACIT, because this is something the President is very passionate about. Right.
Okay, so thank you very, very much. He is the Minister of Labour, Mohammed Rahman Swale. Mr. Ismail Lebi, 80 seconds, what to be your parting shot? Kelly, sorry.
Yes, so the ministry has negotiated a lot with its quarters and also stakeholders down there. So it's now time for the ministry to go into action. And this is a way of informing people that the ministry is definitely going into action to make sure that we continue the implementation of the $24 million project.
Okay, so thank you very, very much, Mr. Ismaila Kebi. And this is how we do the cutting down of today's edition of Good Morning Sierra Leone. Before leaving you, let's take the quote again. It's an African proverb, and it says, if you want to improve your memory, learn someone that. Very interesting. I have been Emmanuel Samuel.
And I am Francis Bernard, and many thanks to the production team here at Broadcasting House, especially our producer Joseph Stanley for putting this program together. Till we meet tomorrow, good morning.
OKNP landscape is more rich in biodiversity. If you come in the OKNP, you will see different type of animals: chimpanzee, hippo, elephant, Maxwell duiker, red flank duiker, etc., etc., and even the colobus monkey, patas monkey, that are in the park.
We're here this morning with the Wabile Eco Guards, with Dr. Moses, Amara, Emmanuel, and Dr. Rosa, doing the camera trap practicals and also how to do reference video making. We're getting ready for tomorrow as we're going to go to the field for 10 days to set up camera trap in 3 different locations with 3 teams. We survey the transect and take data and also do camera traps. For some transect we have 2 cameras, for some transect we have 1, and some transect we just have to resurvey.
Being one of the Wabile staff, we don't learn a lot today from yesterday to today concerning this camera trapping. We will go for 10 days.
I'm Eco Guard for Wabile. I have learned a lot. We are here for training how to set up camera trap, also with a transient land. I'm very happy for being Eco Guard for Wabile because I have a lot of experience now how to protect this land, and I know what to do and what not to do in the forest.
Due to the intervention of many projects like ECOD, Wabile, OKKPS, then we have started seeing some changes. So I think the community members also really appreciate the work of those projects that are bringing development in their chiefdoms in the name of protecting this particular conservation area. With also the community members are now ready full force to support those projects to see how best they can achieve their goal. And they are always thanking the donors that are giving their money to those projects to sponsor community members. Wabile also is now working along the Kilimi axis to Kuru. They also are now trying to see how best we can able to know the different type of animals that are in there. For the community members, they never know if we have chimpanzee or another elephant. Due to the effort of the Wabile and the OKKPS and ECOD, now community members have started knowing that yes, we have elephant, we have chimpanzee, we have leopard. Then this is the good things for the chiefdom because this can encourage the tourism to be in the park and to do more investment. This also encourage the community members also to contribute to support the project because they are seeing their children working with the project. And conservation is good because it creates more jobs for the youth, it creates more employment, more investment. So it will be good if this will continue for the next 10 to 15 years. That can help the conservation area to be protected and the community members also to feel part of the decision making.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or 2 and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place. All of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
and it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from Bo and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
The taxi driver,
The barber,
the drummers, the dancers.
All of us, everybody, we are Freetown.
The past is ours.
the future is ours. It's our time again.
and this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
The greengrocer,
The teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
this light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
the rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown. Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Now pass we all they pass like stranger them. But we all don't dare from them. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
A reporter, a presenter, and an anchor for the Slbc.
I am Dennis Fraser, reporter and presenter here at the Public Broadcaster, and this is the Slbc.
Hi, I am Cynthia Kamara, a news anchor, a reporter, radio presenter, and announcer. I find pleasure in keeping you updated, and it's a pleasure.
Hello everyone,
I am Stella Frederica Bangura, a reporter and presenter at the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay tuned all day, every day. Cheers.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
This is the program where they give you the use where they happen all about the country.
Inside where use, we go take you text, Facebook and WhatsApp message. You complain where you go send us letter to the producer. We dey announce about team them working loss and plenty more.
We are there all about the country. But you self help for being the use to your area.
Where use? The original program where they give you updates.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
Sierra Leone is a country on a new path of development, a new direction. As we awaken to a new sense of patriotism and pride as Sierra Leoneans, the Slbc brings together enlightened senior citizens with much experience to help steer Sierra Leoneans on the path of a defined course of pride and consciousness, a constructive nationalism. So, join the Slbc for the program Constructive Nationalism. Come and let's build Sierra Leone every Saturday at 3 p.m. on the Slbc. Constructive Nationalism on the Slbc.
Life no go ever sweet without
that thing what we call love. Now that make
Love Factor a very good program where any big person can look and enjoy.
Now the kind of program we for spend time for watch. Now the kind of program we for spend time for sit down for look.
And this program it may around land for and I wonder you save life.
The Love Factor show is about family, love, counseling,
relationship. So we build and maintain relationship. This is a program. So we counsel you, for let you know how for them with your partner, let you know how for settle disputes between you and your heart to heart.
Well, you do hear it for yourself.
Join the Love Factor team
every Sunday, 10 p.m.
for help make we all enjoy love and peace.
We are the national broadcaster, and I am Sulaiman Baba Toure, a reporter and presenter at the SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
From the commercial department, I am Regina Bangura. You are watching SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
I am Jonathan Turner, a reporter for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC. As a reporter, I do stories on education, health, politics, and more. Stay glued with SLBC to watch my stories. Your voice, my voice.
Lucian Ganda, producer Wayus, and producer and presenter Christian Editions on TV. This is the SLBC.
I am William Wise, presenter Wayus and also reporter at the SLBC, and this is the SLBC.
I am Salma Tabak, television executive producer. I produce programs on both radio and television. I'm a news anchor, a presenter, an announcer on radio. I enjoy what I do because I serve a public service broadcaster. It's a pleasure to work with the SLBC.
I am Tilly Koma, Head of News and Current Affairs Unit, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Our news hour now covers several segments. We have entertainment, business, weather, sports, ferry schedule, and human interest stories, not forgetting politics. We are doing all that to keep you people posted on what's happening all over the country. Thanks for being with us at SLBC. Keep blue. We are the best.
Are you tired of watching or listening to uninteresting television channels? Then your worries have been addressed, as the SLBC Podium is the answer to your concern.
The SLBC television show, The Podium, is one of the programs you can't afford to miss as a guest or a viewer.
Oh yes, Podium is the show where the mighty and the low will like to sit, because it is a trusted medium to channel your views, concerns and aspirations for Sierra Leone and other happenings around the globe.
Podium is where you get breaking news, because everyone wants to talk to us. If you hear it on Podium, ask no further.
Don't forget to join us every midday from Monday to Friday as we ask the hard questions that you otherwise would have asked to the newsmakers, the movers and shakers of events.
Don't miss the opportunity to be part of Sierra Leone's topmost midday show, The Podium, where the agenda is set for others to follow. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Goodbye.
While the frequency of buildings collapsing and fire accidents are growing at an alarming rate, only few people have thought about ensuring their businesses or property. This negligence has driven some people out of business, some into poverty when they were visited by certain tragedy. A lack of compliance with insurance regulations by many citizens is rife, and many do not even believe in the idea of insuring their property. It is against this background that the government in the year 2000 introduced Sierra Leone Insurance Company. SLECOM's Deputy Commissioner Sheikh Matia said they always ensure that claims are paid to beneficiaries when needed. Yet many people are either unaware of or indifferent to the importance of insurance, leaving themselves vulnerable to devastating financial losses.
Indeed, insurance companies pay claims. We make sure that they pay claims. Whenever there is some amount of discrepancies or whatever, then we come in and settle it, right, to the best of our knowledge in insurance, so that people will have easy access to our office through our provincial offices, liaise with them, tell them about the compulsory insurance issue, all the rest.
For a broker, Joshua Boni, distrust of insurance companies is one of the major reasons why many Sierra Leoneans are reluctant to insure their homes, lives, and property.
The insurance side to the client is that the client also feel that the insurance companies are taking money away from them. And I believe that if that element of trust is worked on, the industry can be a better tool for the economy.
With over 4 decades in the insurance industry, Ambassador Ali Issa Bangura, Executive Chairman of Sierra Leone Insurance Company, has seen firsthand how non-compliance with insurance laws has worsened the impact of disasters on individuals and communities. Despite his company's compliance with all legal frameworks, individuals continue to shy away from insurance coverage. Ambassador Bangura calls for government's intervention to enforce insurance laws more strictly and advocates for the digitalization of the insurance sector to improve efficiency and accessibility.
The corporate institutions that insure against fire and such perils. Individuals, no. I can tell you 90% of the houses in Sierra Leone are not insured. We all know that. But there's a law that says tenantable properties must be insured. It is in the Act. But the question is enforcement. How do we enforce that? You see, it's not easy in a situation such as ours.
One of the key concerns in the consequences of action, lawyer Ibrahim Mansaye of Mansaye and Associates Chambers highlights that when a house is uninsured, the legal consequences in the wake of disaster can be severe. Individuals could face fines or penalties for failing to comply with insurance laws, he emphasized.
Particularly under the Insurance Act of 2016, when you look at Section 91 of the Act, basically it provides that if you do not comply with certain provisions of the Act and you're found guilty of that, you may be fined up to the tune of 10 million loans, which is now 10,000 millions, or face an imprisonment of 2 years. I would advise homeowners to insure their property not only against fire but also against other natural disasters.
Despite these challenges, there are still citizens who recognize the crucial role that insurance plays in Sierra Leone's development and their personal safety. For these individuals, insurance represents more than just a financial tool. It offers peace of mind and protection against unforeseen tragedies.
We are seeing disaster everywhere. We are seeing the houses being burnt and everywhere. We are seeing some unfortunate death, tragic. We are in terms of illness as well. We are seeing so many people in some deplorable condition, except they have to come to the masses to ask for financial help. And all of these things, if as Sierra Leonean, if you are part of this insurance, then it's a step in the right direction.
Yes, I trust insurance company because waiting do a better way.
I trust insurance companies because it is better that I have somewhere to save money than to spend all the profits after sales. Now I know if something goes wrong with my business, they will come to my aid.
For help me. But if I go back to the insurance, then go able for help me.
Education and awareness campaigns led by both government and private stakeholders are critical to reversing the current trend.
In Sierra Leone, experts in the insurance industry say many citizens do not engage in insurance activities such as insuring their life, houses and other property, which in returns hinder them in terms of adversity.
In a nation where disaster can strike without warning, the importance of insurance cannot be overstated. It is time for all Sierra Leoneans to embrace this vital industry for the protection of their lives, property, and future.
Are you tired of watching or listening to uninteresting television channels? Then your worries have been addressed, as the SLBC Podium is the answer to your concern.
The SLBC television show, The Podium, is one of the programs you can't afford to miss as a guest or a viewer.
Oh yes, Podium is a show where the mighty and the low will like to sit because it is a trusted medium to channel your views, concerns and aspirations for Sierra Leone and other happenings around the globe.
Podium is where you get breaking news because everyone wants to talk to us. If you hear it on Podium, ask no further.
Don't forget to join us every midday from Monday to Friday as we ask the hard questions that you otherwise would have asked to the newsmakers, the movers and shakers of events.
Don't miss the opportunity to be part of Sierra Leone's topmost midday show, The Podium, where the agenda is set for others to follow. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Goodbye.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
This is the program where they give you the use where they happen all about the country.
Inside where use, we go take you text, Facebook and WhatsApp message. You complain where you go send us letter to the producer. We dey announce about team them working loss and plenty more.
We are there all about the country. But you self help for being the use that you area.
Where use? The original program where they give you updates.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
Sierra Leone is a country on a new path, a new path of development, a new direction. As we awaken to a new sense of patriotism and pride as Sierra Leoneans, the SLBC brings together enlightened senior citizens with much experience to help steer Sierra Leoneans on the path of a defined course of pride and consciousness, a constructive nationalism. So, join the SLBC for the program Constructive Nationalism. Come and let's build Sierra Leone every Saturday at 3 p.m. on the SLBC. Constructive Nationalism on the SLBC.
we not run away. We come for better. We people that want for see what we they do. We people that want for know what we they say. Oh, we let we swallow. Oh, we let we swallow.
Life no go ever sweet without
That thing what we call love. Now that make.
No fact na a very good program where any big person can look and enjoy.
Now the kind program we for spend time for watch. Now the kind program we for spend time for sit down for look.
And this program it me I don't learn from and I wonder you say for life.
The Love Factor show na about family, love, counseling,
relationship. We say we dey build and maintain relationship. This na program we say we dey counsel you for let you know how for dey with your partner, let you know how for settle disputes between you and your heart to heart.
well, you don't hear it for yourself.
Join the Love Factor team
every Sunday, 10 p.m.
for help make we all enjoy love and peace.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place. All of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
the taxi driver,
the barber,
the drummers, dancers.
All of us.
All of us. Everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
The future is ours. It's our time again.
And this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
the greengrocer,
the teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
This light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
The rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown. Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Now pass we all they pass like stranger them. But we all don't dare from there. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
We are the national broadcaster, and I am Sulaiman Baba Toure, a reporter and presenter at the SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
From the commercial department, I am Regina Bangura. You are watching SLBC. Your voice, my voice.
I am Jonathan Turner, a reporter for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC. As a reporter, I do stories on education, health, politics, and more. Stay glued with SLBC to watch my stories. Your voice, my voice.
Lucian Ganda, producer Wayus, and producer and presenter Christian Renditions on TV. This is the SLBC.
I am William Wise, presenter Wayus and also reporter at the SLBC, and this is the SLBC.
I am Salma Tabak, television executive producer. I produce programs on both radio and television. I'm a news anchor, a presenter, an announcer on radio. I enjoy what I do because I serve a public service broadcaster. It's a pleasure to work with the SLBC. I am Tilly Koma, Head of News and Current Affairs Unit, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Our news hour now covers several segments. We have entertainment, business, weather, sports, ferry schedule, and human interest stories, not forgetting politics. We are doing all that to keep you people posted on what's happening all over the country. Thanks for being with us at SLBC. Keep blue. We are the best.
name is Samuel Bangura, a camera operator at SLBC. I always capture the scene you see on TV. So stay glued to the public broadcaster.
My name is Samuel Kabia, a news anchor and sports producer at SLBC.
Hello, I am Esther Mahisama, reporter and presenter of SLBC Sport.
I am Princess Gibson, executive producer, radio, gatekeeping, radio content, producer, public squire, your program that brings you conversation on topical issues, and also presents our breakfast show, Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Hello, my name is Daphne Zainab Kamara. I am a television producer at the SLBC. I also read the news on television and present the podium on television too. I also announce on radio. Stay tuned to the SLBC.
Providing authentic information has been one of the pillars that SLBC relies on. I am Mohamed Simbiko Omar, a reporter who has developed insatiable appetite for human interest stories. Continue to stay with Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation for your best in broadcast journalism.
As a public broadcaster, we believe in giving out objective stories, and your interest is our concern. I am Moses Sile Conte, a reporter at the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay tuned.
I am Aminata Fofana, a reporter, a presenter, and an anchor for the SLBC.
I am Dennis Fraser, a reporter and presenter here at the public broadcaster, and this is the SLBC.
Hi, I am Cynthia Kamara, a news anchor, a reporter, radio presenter, and announcer. I find pleasure in keeping you updated, and it's a pleasure.
Hello everyone, I am Stella Frederica Bangura, a reporter and presenter at the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay tuned all day, every day. Cheers.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change. We've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
The taxi driver,
The barber,
the drummers, dancers.
All of us.
All of us. Everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
the future is ours. It's our time again.
and this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
The greengrocer,
The teacher,
the dog.
Slbc Tv ba awa we ma ha hawe puma ye ma nyame abiltina kama go fuma uma adwe hunve TV town ta Kenya wa ga veve boy akutuma we ke ji anawe tugu hen disia ta gbate ma mi akọ na dugu ka put loko disimita tugu na ti e pi akologo pa pa bitama the global hen disia e project digital ta e amabo ministry na nawe na kiti ya kwindesi atiaba tugwa na ati pia ke indesi na nawe tita malukoma ko ewu ili gloma chika boye ka bonga tafo uma sia rojo ma fi ugama bena rojo ko ve mpanda ugama sia ta gomendi tabeli ayimwe panko we toka ke di global indesi atia to da lukoma kologo me gbabita ma salon na mima na we ta tugu isifita tu da lukoma kowe guwe disi nawe ti hima dia nawe ti ata to pa agba bi mami akwe na tugu kebe na kafubulo ma ritamu
mi a potloka disibita to go na atati ye pe akolo wo pa mi sia ma sia ni de sia tia tini magloma ta ti de lo na ke ye project digital to go na ngo fa gbe ki fa ka na ta tutu ga ela ye de sia na to atiki ati gba ele fo we ma ta ke sia na ta ye ko lo mu jisia ni de sia na we to gwita ta da lukuma ta jita gwi na ibe jina ji ati jawo ma to wa ni a na vi ko we to ati fitwe ta ba to gwi ti ta to ga wa pe kologo gigi ma na we ti pina ta si ala mu ma bloma funingi si ana we pa gba bi ta ma mi a bo bali di si mi ta hu to ba na tuto ya government ta ma ko we do ko pa pa we ti bu pe di fa to go ata do mama na we ko hu le go gbo ko we tu go to pa si awie mi a bali shagwe ma vita hu ta ke ye digital tu no gale lo ba na we gbi ma bla me ati ko we tu gbe ma ta ye mu ba digital ti fa fo bu to ye digital ko ti wa kiti ko mama yetu ta si ala mu ma go ma si jina na we na ti go ba na we ta to Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs to wa na ti here wo to ya ma ta ti daga la lukuma ko we to si a wo ta inde si ati ata bu ta nya inde si ati ata bu da lukuma be nya ga ma o ti ati gbe inde si ma mu yo ya ta iye na ta be na ni a been to manita na we conference mu ta hu na we mu ga to boelo na we to boy Europe ka ba na mu ga e kesia to elo ko we to gbe inde gitama ko we mu ta inde si ati a to bu vita na we to jawi ta mabo diana na we to na ni de se ba na we Environmental Protection Agency to go na to ko ba kwa ya ta United Nations Development Program ko we mu VGC na we mu ga se ta ko ta kwa ba ko ro ti de se ma ti we ma na we 2024 ma na we mu na ta vita ugwita kubaya ta majwe na we Peter George si oni agie ko wo di si ata inde si na we da lukuma ta na we ogwilo na pen na vuma ye chike afo $1,000 lolu ta si ara jili loma no na si ama agie na we EPASL Dr. Abubakar Masakwe EPASL ni edelo na keta ti ma bla ma ta ko wo mu vegeta to go to da lukuma vi panda ko we inde si ati to go to jawe do eta se de si ati mala di fa we gana ye pa bi jitama amabo pe ma si anu ma ji ga pe ma ba ko lo ka pa ga na ta ba mi a kiti do ki ata ye pe na ta se wa kiti nu ga ma na we ti na ti ye bi na pota fa we ta gama ta ye ta ko lo nji tugula na ti ye peke gbe ye do we si ana ke ha ke si ana na we ta ga lengo aye tenga pe moto wa ji na we ta pe we ta ya na we kiti gboto ayena ta pe o ibi ana pe ta ke peta obu gana ta yo ko wa nji ta tide la ke ye pejita kumwe ta tiki ya ge ajiava na we Italian na we ta talk disi abeta wa fa we moto wa jisia ta je atudu ilo na tide nu na si alevi age Christian sise ogule age talk isi aye gboto Italian na we lo be ye difa anka ga na we tabuta do nugachi agama ta yo ko ro hunji ye tenga botomati ya lo wa gojifa kiti na ye choki disi abana we moto wa disi ta we tani ambassador omrigoli egwana ta iyepia ko we di leke egbele ta iyena ta ogbe na iyepe ji agama na we All People's Congress APC blaza jina ta ogwina ta Freetown mi a lo ko we egbele ke di leta iyena ta democracy ye peta guru e la pe na Freetown do ejita ta je odile na mi apuje disibita jina ta ile tota guama nuga sema nawe edelo na na vove nawe agu a $1,000 lolu la Leone ni jungwe ta mi apuja disipita ta ti mi ma ike ma ye mi ahun pateji nawe ta ko ma ko we ta Nigeria blasia ko we to wiki tata tugwa na taka wia baba mana we to ma gbe gba bi ma salonu ga sia na we ba nu gba sia le ko bu tugba inde sia ma ko be hu wo eji sia na we tu bi ma na we cyber city gba bi ta ma gbe yi pepe ta ye na ta yo ko la unji sa pa bi sia tugwa na tu indaga la lo ko ma ya Hastings ya na we tugwa ta tutuga ko we tuguta ti ye be pada Charlie Kajita and I call it to talk to Kendesi to Batala Lukuma with Pada, Tardy Glomandaga, to Bata to Yaduetam, Tardy Beleke, the letter Duetam. Bonesia, never have a Gumisiali. Capemeli, Kanga Siana, Bega, and a Boba Kima. Nyabella, good mama, Kagaya Pelo, Akutumawe. Korogo jama nawe tuguwesi ahima mia kwa na du kebe podloko distributor pa gba bitamasia ndesi ati mala ta Ministry of Tourism tugwa na ta tda lokoma ko yanga se be tugbe biti yawo ma ndesi ma salon lo mi digital ye ndesi ati tugu tugbe ndesi ma bolesia na me ha ve gubisiale yago bo ave gama ya bia mi ameltina kama ha be bo juma we ma go jam kenya go ve ma we ke amalo we
iko ika advance no gbafo ake no Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television ni demenen alusini amam sisem ka no akera aninki enye anakter atila an vegetable farmers ka an kulinga do koina dugwe anto yi eyun kolia do pulokoi o angani ampo ko yanko amenti salata kata yi ake akuto ngai atai etinga au kana nta tela agriculture value chain development project ngani adoko kate ka akem kan butisia anchi kanto yi ma tanema sunangi au pgbane yi bomngani o adi bet ko kli ka be kampanga fuma bom angi ka ebutisia te yanyi Katlika acara tongka ofina wati kanen kama enquirements ka mapant mama fino aminga nge mayo mo kafil antofi owa aninki atila an vegetable farmers anyi ka ayon kolingado koina dugo anto yi afunga antofunga do kafulom ayon koli pulokoi owa ngangi ampu bontu snack ke kan panga kobulo ofina wati salata atinga ngi apoku choi nga atanga tinga makone ka kachiti bulotoni Owa tui akeka kem kai butisa kobulo an kucho inga atetangi angang mo ngi ampuyo tongi o mambulo anten mati mami mafino anten makai akata no anten mafino matongo antaka sai na putasi wa de ko kat sai ko fof kat keki anten makiku ka ko ke anko kotka egba shadonga ayo mapantam ka mami kasa tu mapan mi mamkone na one for agriculture development ngani abusa ka mapantema aniki anata atela yung farmers ka ayong calling adumbali ango ifane requirements kanka kama songa amal angimi aboli komi mapde ya famangi o angangi amba akepi kaya ti ai moloma kemekini ampo bus ampo yo mapant Baki ngayo ay pana kwa me kanka asona amar ali be antel masanga ni ambi kanka do bombali shebo anto frati kapiti mapri afma kokot do anka so somo amban bangalome kama ko klitu sekani wa ni ampo ito kama antmata ngi tatrintu ni don ka kem sisa anchi kato yi matane o angangi ampo de ka abusta bumangi fa region Congress ayo kadu bintiman international conference tai wa ka mitmati di danan amba bana ku ka tot of to be anto i tot of to put to ranko bobo ka mitmati ne kama anta di be tema clearly bet kun ka be ka to mu wande ni mu ni bomi kono tsa kono di anto ka ko so mara ne bomang anyi pi anta ne utisa anchike atela ba protection agency abakatela NPE amarangi ansoto ka international development programme o angangi ampung amitmangi amingang ayo mangi mibet ka klene kuka notifiari kita so IT kanto ya kimokim mchete uka noton matema mchete so pasan mark page kai ko wa okobompi mo adojengi kono ka technology kono pi mafino matman pi ankala ni abuta paati ai moloma $1 tamat kuka ti opa kwa ka ibi Sierra Leone Dr. Abubakar Maswangi ko telma ko pa nan ka ya ai ma ko ne buti apo nan ka ka sai ati ka tubuta afo ni mche ngani ka atingan imayo ka kli ka bi ka tekani wa ngani ni be tkan kama guli but ama yi fina ka atata tim so fa ma peti ka mene ko bi mo ka tanto i mata mlo ma adok sa mastete koti wa pepi kadi de fina ni ambiasi ni anti ya fina ke pepi adunda tili kadi de lese wa mo son pa mastete idi adunda do kisi do di anan kepa ka dunda tedani anan kepa eshiduma bempa mata pito effect tanto yeshi telomi yi yapo idi enke adunga di upload po yi moyenyi po yi de fino hali tati pepi ko kli adunda ti antanan kepa de po kankle an yi ode wolomi mo bisbis ma po yi nibe ngamiyo tolo ita bana ta mo to ke club pit tasi o am so pam la mati ari mane tolo ita ti taska adunda tedan afam anyi ka atalan tati ngani ti teke ma puding kepai angi ba fakti ka egba piate yangi angangi tolo ita ma ti tasari to police adunda tedan kan telma ka molo tolo itati matiti tas mama tsima ka adunda ti arang o les dati kuka asoka opa bakati ma singi ko te pa tolo itati titi tas ka dati o titi botsum so titi boli de kom toni container wa titi ni be anti botsum de ne saf ma peti SMS wa ko pa so pai o mai fane afangi ba shitata yangi facility kama lita tu ma bempana ke au ngani ogule so tali duonga ambase mu igole ni o akona ni opo tenai salata mafina ame ko pepi ka motofli adim dine kadi ngayo kono so apuka so ku fofane akusun aye ka ampati anata tila people's congress atila IPC wa kankan kama kontone ka not kabe ka agim din dibet kanake kama butsa ka ifsane anfosoy kama taitino tibali ka ontof kofof ka teki ki hotelma ki ka ayun kolinga do puji do ko le ayenerito anto so landani afon kupa otsonga akala imba ki moloma euteme tamati ta afon mamba bananye ka patinga IPC ka ayun kolinga tenani aninki anata tela first match consultancy group ni kinga ngi ka of Nigeria awa ampong amitma me ampo kale ye itam tukini wa libe taka klika be ka mangi ka butsa ko mufi kama angbali tara tunga mali ebutu shan malustami to be to yi matai mati mawo kane to epayati antique to kane ko titi sota tofio kama da sami ati ama apun amit mati me ka do police training college ka ni afa mai ku ba she gwa ka kati na so kan lo mi ka so tema for fake ko fina ko pai o atangi t-shirt guli yo to di mal sami ma mi kama abuli piki ma ku ka kata kinga poku so tali ma ka kati o ngani kan ko so ba mlane ka pa ngani atmari kama abuli but sa ka taite fina ku ka ngama pantama ma yoy kadi motong atsarai ki anak tera atela bete ufama ji kan kolinga ko na du anto i afumga du pulokoi o ngani ampo kui encouragement ka tofu ati apoto ngak party taiti ko kane ka chichi yo mapant mama yo imo ko buloi ka kim kane but chanchi ki mai matane masu o ama au pupane pi ati maklene di tire taka kli kabe ka bunga ngi du ko ka butsa anchi kanto i matamolo mati kama taiti non tibuli di ka do camp kati aluseni alami sisi et paton pota
Masir makata suma itala safi si agnezu batrena bena sise masir mamamba ikondo ngwabi pona kuya konchimena tita pale dentaga kagi yabi tu mukoi muna patipati ka lokore oga koina dugo inka potlogo tepe badoman na bigon ko ba mase requirement ya kanomba tomena kwege ko batalone tebeni mbaga tainembe ematio ka kwege ko Mende boy makutani ipo ayerembe ambakutana ayereme tuti kabeni ba wali mbakeni memba kakepudo kali beni mama beni ba hena kinkene kali ba oba maseba nona o comment ampuke na taw yugendo mbatomena kwege kokoma beni wali baga mukemuna patipati ka lokore oga koina dugo mene ga bupi oga kafubulo kali ga putlogo bide sole hu komenta imba dukunogo ba mo wale ma bide ni maka ni ba uyo amba tie sara ni ba mamba peti kanona bide ba ni wali ba halgo ba kuta wali ba ni maka kwege koko maname ni munambia be e kwege koko brebre tie sara ni ba mamba kana bide de tsege mo wali ma bi sisio bide ma inka tontigi na bagu mase ba halgo no na bide kaiga kotogo ina tawuge wipinde on aka koto ebeni baga walimba kakwege ko hokpo unte udo mebine aka proton na Young Farmers Association kalokore oga bombaleo ke na bide wanko kitende requirement yamba halgo no na bide dukuno humase ba no na bide kaiga kotogo ba nya wali kwege kumadi kupegina de binde ba de ngadumbo de tesara ni bamba mankana tembide kadumbo ba kene memba yu binde nyapa ka lokori oga bombalio ka bompio do binde ona balisha bora ka fe kubenana ka tunkuna de binde bia ba tongne binde ba doma na bidu kuno e ba nya wali ba algo ba tom na kwege ko na o kaiga ko toy batalone tebeni baga taine be kakwege kokomba mide sesi makutande ma tunkuna de binde yereme kage ka podo me bine ana tourism ka ngakwege nga hena bisega tabante forma ka do me bine na Bintumani International Conference Center ga Kempudo kage makutande mamamba ukpodo mo ana Europe bimene ngakwege nga ga bia bibole pede bina se basi pengtande makutane mabena na bano na bide dukune sembe kaya remember tita yonko kabeni mbaga tayanka kwege hokwa odonge bapa mama donge ma odome bine aka oportona Protection Agency bidabina sega tabante hokwa odomo na United Nations Development Program ba dukunago mase ba halgo no kapate ni ba mine bamba de takagi ka beni ba boy ba bine masi ka ba de ubinde bon on todo me bina na Peter George o de na ba ya umba ko do me ha na Ideal Technologist be abembe ba mi de bina ne wini ga upangde ubo hebinde o na hulu ba ni binde wini ba ba ga de wuli bi soy mine bina puke bina opagande komba kana ba haomba oga opon oga EPASL Dr. Abubakar Masakoy ende tepe ba do mana ba bion minde si mogo ba sisinwa makupagande no koko ba lono na pia bitone ngakoto na binde tite yonko ba maseba pa mama dongema benti kamukui muni ba sa namba kwege kokomba benti kabeni bago peto koto ha kakwege ku awa nega kande ubiasi bebante ba ni ba tongo ba do mane wonke ubiasi wonkomba katebe na tuma ndia ndega ponga ba yo hoy umba nena tonde ele kaponga ba kisido kia bonga ba mama meta kusunko besi si ongatina tuma awa beta ke sigo go pati kuga ometi bonga ba mama kena factory bi poe bi ga kwege kokomba kene ne tenka ne tete tayo menta gampati nena tonde na bina pokoe bia bidonge ngende bem de tepe ba do mana binele pe na binega hame na ba na ponge na bata keta yo intro imbi buye bigende dang tande be umba foma na o minde sise pete na bata ni nenda kona nenda na danga dita na bigon kan tukuku tu kene me ba wono na ponge mama yenu na gare na hae ponge mama ba yenu sa na bigon ponkiti ande bakala be ko koma EBPM factory bi kende ba na bine tite yonko ba yena ponga bamba ba halgono na kandi andia okande hani yesonia Ambassador Omri Goli ende kwesinkiti yende badnata oga matebe e maboye nande ka kwege memba nyo kanande pungitande party oga All People's Congress APC kama kuta maboye binde ka party o Kenema bano na binde se gatabante kwege ku na kitende ga puje nde pungitande binde ba halgono na binde pe hunte ka dukuno kobre oga Ulin kemega soi ga koro galio ngamo kapati oga episio mene yana reto ba masebia benkende kapati omba molwa patu nande niye na waram hokpa ndo baby da first Yomanj Consultancy Group hokpa unaonga ega kwege kuga Nigeria awabine boye makuta de ma sonte bataninoa bia beni baga wila ka kwege kokomba imba bitakage ka beni imba siaba nyokage anga kwege nga agwani kana makutane mama mabo ebidema ka do mebinega na police training college ka Hastings bataninoa bia biga beni baga wila na bineni gutonto beni basia nyo en bano na bidebo beni boy Teba mutunso bakatama tebe kapege kunka kotoi ten ape masirma rebele kake o menatipeta pere tagende kage awa bayo ni be mini wali de bide ki mukimu na patpatumbe ka lokorio ga koina dugu menega pot logo bide tepe badama na bigon totio kwa mentia kanata uyu bine ba nimba mutome muka kwegenko batalone tebeni mbaga tainembe bine boye makutali ma tunkonande bine yerme bano na bine titie onko ka po amba tena pe masirma yanda agna subature e nabina
SLBC television on at time for use na for estimating them inside use. Farmer they where they plant vegetable na Kwenadugu and Port Local district don't tell cabo to press to government for sake of the agriculture value chain development project. And the Ministry for Tourism don't begin the first Women in Tourism Regional Conference na Freetown. That's implementing inside the use. Me na Omobaka with the full use. As well for the government in feed salon program go before people where they plant vegetable na Kwenadugu district and Kafubulom Chieftain Port Local district don't gladly for the carnival way how the agriculture value chain development project under the Ministry for Agriculture don help them for make them begin wetin dem call smart agricultural production, where inside them it don help them for make them able for the plant more in them where they normally plant here they will be no pass. Them being police word na do where them been go worker for see how they know they carry on with the project self the couple where they may not get from the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Young Farmer Association Bombali District don't call on government for support them Tranga one with senior way they go take for the brush the 100-acre land. They mean talk here so where they mean take some big allejo them na the Bombali Shebora chiefdom for make them go worker and go see the side the way they don't do then work their way na agricultural work them. This association here so done the farming business for over 10 years now. The Ministry for Tourism and Cultural Affairs don pull na do the first Women in Tourism conference where they carry on now na the Bintumani Conference Center na Freetown here so. Outside different people and wey come out na different country and come be part of this program here so for make themselves go put hand for help push women them where the tourism business go before. The Environment Protection Agency, with support from the United Nations Development Program, done one program where they call Innovation Green Solution Challenge 2024. Usai one Peter George when the possible before for Ideal Technologies been there before and been win at this challenge so and we win couple win about $5,000. According to the executive chairman EPA Salon Abubakar Masakoy, he said they and partner them been look fine one for see the people them we go carry with idea them when na one day where them for go with when na young people them where they don't develop the first national pollution plan where they go take for manage bad thing them way can they come out way not good for people them. Road the way people they work on a side way for make people feel safe way when they travel. If na so it be the Kisi Dockyard Road where na one pandi road them where they connect plenty factory them and plenty other community there around the Kisi Dockyard area. Don't then a side way not good for the motorcar them where they work at them. The road get plenty pothole them and save this one so they make and tranga for let them big truck them can they pass every day the truck them where can they pass go to the different factory them where they na that side they can they ambog people them as the road no fine for make them the worker. Plenty people don't blame the factory people them say now then they make the road and the poil because of the cannabis big motorcar them way they can they pass na the side day. According to the community chairlady when a Christian assist he said that every go there so where they not they use so na then road there so they make safety business stronger for them. He said the container then can they fall down and now they self can put their life there at risk. He said we so talk say plenty time they don't talk to the people that will get the factory then for make them go help for make them go there so that it no go continue for the ambog them when are the people them. Ambassador Omri God don't talk about the need where they for like collapse and what go they now the people that when are the All People's Congress Party people they member them so that they all go together for the party and go before and for make democracy go there in the country. He been talk this na Pujon district where he be go hand over generator where he be promise to give the people themselves 500,000 new euros to the party executive in Pujon district. The first Jumja Consultancy Group from Nigeria done 1 6 weeks training for security agency then a salon, but how them for the carry on with public order management and forensic science and cyber security business. Inside this training, yeah, so where them been do so, the tell where them been done now the police training school na Hastings, the one that we been known who get this sense message, they may go show the kind of thing the way they don't learn and say how they go for looting them, where it camp crime management and plenty other thing them way they go learn. They believe say this training also go up for look inside the kind of way how police and other security people and they manage crime business in the country. Family always to get them for inside use for today. But before I go, remember you back say vegetable farmer them na Kwena Dugan Port local district don't tell government cabo for the cannabis thing their way the non-car with by agriculture value chain development project. And the Ministry for Tourism don't begin the first Women in Tourism Regional Conference na Freetown. So that's how you say come to you from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. Mina Umubakar.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place. All of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown.
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 Yeah.
We found our voice again.
I'm from India and Freetown.
I'm from China and Freetown.
I'm from the UK and Freetown.
I am from Nigeria and Freetown.
I am from home and Freetown.
This city belongs to everyone.
The fishermen,
the taxi driver,
the barber,
the drummers, dancers,
all of us.
All of us. Everybody. We are Freetown.
The past is ours.
The future is ours. It's our time again.
And this city belongs to everyone.
The playwright,
The greengrocer,
The teacher,
the dog.
This space is ours.
this light is ours.
The beaches are ours.
the rivers now we own.
The roads are ours.
The bridges now we own.
We are Freetown.
We are all visitors and we've all been here forever.
We've got the mightiest river.
And the biggest sky.
And there's a resonance again.
Freetown, Freetown.
We are proud of this place.
We love this city.
And we want you to love it too.
We are proud of this place.
Na pass we all dey pass like stranger dem, but we all don't dare from them. Come here, and you'll feel it, that end of the line sense of freedom. Say yes to Freetown. Say yes to freedom.
I am Aminata Fofana, a reporter, a presenter, and an anchor for the Slbc.
I am Dennis Fraser, reporter and presenter here at the Public Broadcaster, and this is the Slbc.
Hi, I am Cynthia Kamara, a news anchor, a reporter, radio presenter, and announcer. I find pleasure in keeping you updated, and it's a pleasure. Hello everyone, I am Slbc Tv, a reporter and presenter at the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay tuned all day, every day. Cheers.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
This is the program where they give you the use where they happen all about the country.
Inside where use, we go take you text, Facebook and WhatsApp message. You complain where you go send as letter to the producer. We dey announce about things them working loss and plenty more.
We are there all about the country. But you self help for being the use that you area.
Where use? The original program where they give you updates.
Where use? You get use?
Yes, I get use.
Sierra Leone is a country on a new path of development, a new direction. As we awaken to a new sense of patriotism and pride as Sierra Leoneans, the Slbc brings together enlightened senior citizens with much experience to help steer Sierra Leoneans on the path of a defined course of pride and consciousness, a constructive nationalism. So, join the Slbc for the program Constructive Nationalism. Come and let's build Sierra Leone every Saturday at 3 p.m. on the Slbc. Constructive Nationalism on the Slbc.
Life no go ever sweet without
that thing what we call love. Now that make
no fact na a very good program where any big person can look and enjoy.
Now the kind program we for spend time for watch. Now the kind program we for spend time for sit down for look.
And this program it mean I don't learn for my and I want you save life.
The Love Factor show is about family, love, counseling,
relationship. We dey build and maintain relationship. This na program. We dey counsel you, for let you know how for deal with your partner, let you know how for settle disputes between you and your heart to heart.
Well, you do hear it for yourself.
Join the Love Factor team
every Sunday, 10 p.m.
for help make we all enjoy love and peace.
We are the national broadcaster, and I am Sulaiman Baba Toure, a reporter and presenter at the Slbc. Your voice, my voice.
From the commercial department, I am Regina Bangura. You are watching Slbc. Your voice, my voice.
I am Jonathan Turner, a reporter for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Slbc. As a reporter, I do stories on education, health, politics, and more. Stay glued with Slbc to watch my stories. Your voice, my voice.
Lucian Ganda, producer, Wayus, and producer and presenter Christian Editions on TV. This is the SLBC.
I am William Wise, presenter Wayus and also reporter at the SLBC, and this is the SLBC.
I am Salma Tabak, television executive producer. I produce programs on both radio and television. I'm a news anchor, a presenter, an announcer on radio. I enjoy what I do because I serve a public service broadcaster. It's a pleasure to work with the SLBC. I am Tilly Koma, Head of News and Current Affairs Unit, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Our news hour now covers several segments. We have entertainment, business, weather, sports, ferry schedule, and human interest stories, not forgetting politics. We are doing all that to keep you people posted on what's happening all over the country. Thanks for being with us at SLBC. Keep blue. We are the best.
Are you tired of watching or listening to uninteresting television channels? Then your worries have been addressed, as the SLBC Podium is the answer to your concern.
The SLBC television show, The Podium, is one of the programs you can't afford to miss as a guest or a viewer.
Oh yes, Podium is a show where the mighty and the low will like to sit, because it is a trusted medium to channel your views, concerns and aspirations for Sierra Leone and other happenings around the globe.
Podium is where you get breaking news, because everyone wants to talk to us. If you hear it on Podium, ask no further.
Don't forget to join us every midday from Monday to Friday as we ask the hard questions that you otherwise will have asked to the newsmakers, the movers and shakers of events.
Don't miss the opportunity to be part of Sierra Leone's topmost midday show, The Podium, where the agenda is set for others to follow. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Goodbye.
name is Samuel Bangura, a camera operator at SLBC. I always capture the scene you see on TV. So stay glued to the public broadcaster.
My name is Abdul Kabia, a news anchor and sports producer at SLBC.
Hello, I am Esther Maisama, reporter and presenter of SLBC Sport.
I am Princess Gipsy, executive producer, radio, gatekeeping, radio content, producer, public squire, your program that brings you conversation on topical issues, and also presents our breakfast show, Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Hello, my name is Daphne Zainab Kamara. I am a television producer at the SLBC. I also read the news on television and present the podium on television too. I also announce on radio. Stay tuned to the SLBC.
Providing authentic information has been one of the pillars that SLBC relies on. I am Mohamed Simbiko Omar, a reporter who has developed insatiable appetite for human interest stories. Continue to stay with Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation for your best in broadcast journalism.
As a public broadcaster, we believe in giving out objective stories, and your interest is our concern. I am Moses Sile Conte, reporter at the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Stay tuned.
What up, African World? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. This video is a special Patreon request. So today, we'll be talking about the Mende people. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you'd like access to full courses and sources, or you simply want to show your support, you may do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description box below. There are roughly 1.5 million Mende in Sierra Leone, mainly in the southeast, accounting for about 30% of the population, and approximately 30,000 in neighboring Liberia. Some scholars suggest that the Mende people originated from the Kingdom of Mali or Manden, amongst other Mende groups, but sometime in the 15th century they began moving southward, conquering other groups as they went. Others suggest that the Mende people were originally amongst a group of rogue soldiers from Mali called the Mani, who invaded the southern regions after Mali began to disintegrate. Mende origins aren't an exact historical science, if you will, but it does seem as though they were joined by other Mande-speaking peoples as they moved southward into Liberia. The arrival of Mande-speaking invaders from the north, together with an increase in population and the advantages of political and military alliances at the time of the slave trade, influenced the emerging Mende state system during the 18th century. By the late 19th century, there were approximately 70 Mende chieftaincies. Observers identified two types of Mende states, those defined territorially and those defined by loyalty to a particular ruler. In both cases, the authority of a ruler depended primarily on military prowess and the support of subordinate chiefs. Most Mende converted to either Christianity or Islam in the 19th century, but their traditional religion is still very strong. Traditional religion centers on the creator called Negwo, who is the supreme being, but he's also approached through the spirits of the ancestors. Interestingly enough, the original supreme being of the Mende was a female deity called Leva. She was supplanted by the male god Ngewo, and the two were blended into a single deity. According to one myth, there was a time when people forgot Ngewo, stopped praying to him, and neglected to make offerings to the ancestral spirits. Because of this, the people's lives changed for the worse, and illness and death came among them. One night, the people heard the voice of Leve telling them that they had to pray to Ngewo again and make offerings to the ancestors. When the people did so, their lives improved. In another myth about the origin of death, Ngewo sent a dog and a toad to humans to carry messages of life and death. The dog carried the message that people would not die, and the toad carried the message that death would come. Although both started out at the same time, the dog stopped in hope of getting some food from a woman, and the toad continued forward. The toad arrived first, saying to the humans that death would come. The dog arrived too late, unfortunately, and humans accepted the toad's message of death. Also in Mende religious belief, there are a number of lesser spirits called Hale, who are contacted through special mask societies. The main societies are the Poro and the Sande, who perform during major ceremonies such as circumcision and during planting season.
Hello and welcome to this edition of the Podium, which is coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Asmiba. We start with a quote of the day which comes from a US activist, Martin Luther King Jr., and it says, "All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity." Coming up into this edition of the program, Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security will give us updates on recent developments in their ministry. Medical Association gives 21 days ultimatum to the government of Sierra Leone. ACC indicts 3 officials of EcoBank with 147 counts of corruption. And we shall give you a recent book written by a Sierra Leonean on how to combat money laundering. These issues, including your messages which you can send to the number 030073719. You can also join us on our Facebook page, SLBC TV. The program is The Podium. The Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security is responsible for developing and implementing labour and social security policies and regulations. So the ministry's work includes, among other things, social security, occupational health and safety, industrial relations, employment, labour statistics, child labour and international labour standards. So since his assumption as Minister of Labour, Mohamed Ramanswari has embarked on key policy reforms as a way of changing the working landscape in the country. But to give us updates on some of these projects and developments, especially when it comes to changing the policies that will give Sierra Leoneans dignity in their workplaces, we have in the studio the Acting Commissioner of Labour, who is Chibli Kamara. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, it's more than 1 year now, little over a year since the Ramanswari became Minister of Labour, and one of his priorities has been bringing out key policy reforms. Let's start with that. What are some of these reforms that he has embarked on?
Thank you. Excellent question. On the policy front, first, you may know that we have a national labour migration policy. So what he did was to engage the International Organization for Migration with a view to making sure that we review that policy. That policy review process has commenced. In fact, we are now at a stage where we are getting ready for regional consultations. We've developed a concept note and its related budget. We've submitted that to the IOM. We are due to start that regional consultation next month. Yeah, so that is one. Secondly, in terms of policy again.
Now, before you proceed to another policy, let us look at this migration policy. What were some of the grey areas? What are some of the lacunas?
Well, one of the grey areas has to do with ethical recruitment. There is nowhere in that policy that speaks to ethical recruitment, because that is where the labour migration starts actually. So that is one thing we're going to factor in the document. So once you get that, because don't forget the Overseas Employment and Migrant Workers Act provides for private overseas employment agencies to engaging and facilitating the movement of migrant workers from this country to destination countries. It could be in the Middle East, etc., etc. So, but because the policy has to be in sync with the law. So, because the law does not provide for ethical recruitment, then there is a challenge. So that is why.
So when you say that ethical recruitment, is it about the where the people are going to be, the kinds of job that these are going to be provided?
Well,
ethics and what have you?
Ethics basically speaks to morals, those things that are right when you are recruiting people. Say, for example, you cannot take a child, according to the definition of a child in this country, somebody who is below 18 years. You cannot take somebody at the age of 18, say you want to take that person for ethical recruitment. Or maybe you take somebody in this country and then you did not go through the right channels, or maybe you go through illegal points of travel and you take that person out without the ministry knowing. You can't do those things. So those are some of the things.
So how come the ministry presided over previous overseas employments?
Well,
when do themselves knew some of those employments were not ethically?
The policy was launched in 2018. So we've been doing things.
But since 2018 to now, so many overseas employments have taken place.
Well, I don't know. You say so many. I don't know. You have to come with the numbers.
No overseas employment has been done between 2018 to now.
2018 to now, yes. Since the policy, yes, it has been going on, but you will realize that, well, that was why, because there were challenges, that was why we decided to come up, well, to work with other sister ministries, including the Attorney General and Minister of Justice's office, to make sure that we have a law that speaks specifically to overseas employment and migrant workers. Okay. And in addition to that, also, the policy that I alluded to earlier provided that we should, as a country, ratify International Labour Organization standards, conventions specifically that speak to labour migration. Because, as you know, we are a member of the International Labour
Organization. Have we not ratified them?
We have. So, because it's in the policy, we made deliberate effort to ratify them around 2018, 2019. So, for example, if you look at the Migration for Employment Convention 143, you have also 97 migrant workers, and then you also have 181 private employment agencies, and then you also have the other, I cannot give you the exact number now, the one that speaks to domestic workers. So we've ratified all of those. So, and when you're developing a law, one of the things, I'm not a lawyer, but based on experience, what we've been doing, when you're developing a law, one of the things that you give consideration to, first, the supreme law of the land, the constitution. Secondly, you also look at those international treaties the government has ratified that are in force. Because you are a member of the International Labour Organization, we looked at those. In addition to that, also, you look at the region, the laws that are operating, what is it, and then you look at those, which aspects can you bring into your own country. And then finally, you look at the experience that you've gotten over the years.
Okay.
And that will all help in developing this.
So after the labour migration, what other policy?
So, as I was about to say, you have the volunteering policy, because employability of prospective workers is a challenge. So one good way to start is maybe by having volunteers. So you need to have a policy. We've developed that, it has been validated. So that one also is on course. And then, in addition to that, you also have...
Is it different from the volunteer corps that is being led by the Ministry of Youth?
So, well, it may not be different. They are related. That is why when you are developing these policies, one of the things you do stakeholder mapping to make sure that you take all those stakeholders on board, because you will not want to have a policy that contravenes another policy.
So what does the voluntary policy, like what does it speak to?
Well, as I said, basically it's about volunteering. How would people engage in volunteering, and possibly, it's a policy. So it will give you the broad framework of how volunteering will take place. Yeah. And then, also don't forget, the Employment Act, Part 11, if I'm not mistaken, speaks to volunteers. There is a section that speaks to volunteers that will tell you that, well, even though they are not workers, but they may get something like a stipend. Okay? Yeah. So,
and sometimes there have always been some challenges between volunteers and the institution they volunteer for. Sometimes they work for 6 months, some even work for 1 year, 2 years, but they still refer to them as volunteers.
So that is
they are
why
not paid properly.
Well, so
they are not entitled to annual leave and stuff like that. But they still refer to them as volunteer, but they've served for more than 2 years.
So that is why. So if you look at the definition of the Employment Act, volunteer in the Employment Act, it will tell you this is somebody that has taken up out of his own free will, not under duress, to do a particular thing over a period of time. So that is why it is important for ministries, departments, and agencies to collaborate and coordinate. So that once we are there in the middle, we should be in a very good position to give technical advice as to how the situation can be done with a view to making sure that we'll get it right. In addition to that, I know you guys are time bound. In addition to that policy, there is also the occupational safety and health policy. Occupational safety and health basically means prevention of accidents and diseases at workplaces. We also have that. It has been validated, but we need to have...
What did we have before this one?
Well, it was the Factories Act number 3 of 1974. Ideally, they will tell you, you need to first have a policy, and then you have a law, and then you have a regulation. So it is not still late. Even the Factories Act, we've reviewed that. We are now trying to get, we've gotten a draft occupational safety and health bill. The latest information I have now is that bill is with the government printing, getting it ready for gazetting so that it can go to Parliament for debate and eventually it will become law. Okay. So that is that with respect to the policy aspect.
Okay, continue to because we'll talk about more policies as the program progresses. Well, he is Chibli Kamara, who is the acting commissioner of labor in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. The program is Podium, reaching you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Financial crimes, especially money laundering, has been a serious challenge across Africa, including Sierra Leone, to the extent that it has created a huge financial burden on the masses, but it continues to enrich perpetrators of the crime. Well, this is what prompted a Sierra Leonean writer and anti-money laundering and financial crime expert Paul Aliu Kamara to write a book on effective leadership to tackle money laundering in Sierra Leone and Africa. Well, the book is an eye-opener to this menace that has contributed to Africa's underdevelopment. Well, we have the author himself, Paul Aliu Kamara. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for having you. My viewers can see the book titled "The Need for Effective Leadership in Combating Financial Crime in Africa, in the African Union Continental Free Trade," sort of assessing the impacts of financial crime to Africa development trade agenda. I know before you went to work, before you came out with this work, you had something in mind. Give us a background to this work first.
Yeah, definitely, yes, I had something in mind before writing this book. I worked with the Financial Academy and in the United States, and also been partnering with Global Interfaith and California University. So we're doing a research in the African Continental Free Trade Zone, and we discovered a lot of issues, and one of them that actually spurred my interest was on the loss of Africa. You know, I was reviewing a paper for one of the guys that was going to do his PhD, that is Eric Sumeme in Nigeria, and I happened to run into some of the problems. One of them that actually inspired me was I discovered that Africa is losing something like 88.6 billion per year. And I went further and I discovered that Africa is making something like 54 billion on their direct foreign investment. And then the donor aid, we are receiving something like 48 billion. And I did, you know, some estimate, and I discovered if Africa is losing 88.6 billion and we are making 54 and we are receiving 48,
that is a serious deficit.
That is a serious deficit. Then I went further and I discovered that the loss was actually on what we call illicit financial outflows. That is to say, we are losing money here indirectly through criminals, and that is where my interest was born on this research. So I engaged, you know, the E4&A, which is one of the consulting firms for the African Union that is in Lagos, headed by Eric, and also the Coalition for Pan-Africa Against Money Laundering, and then the African Union itself. And that is where the idea of that book came. But I focused on leaders.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. And when I was going through the preface this morning and forward, I realized that your focus was more on the leadership, and I'm sure you are not only referring to the political leadership, but leadership at these key institutions that are there to ensure they prevent financial crimes.
Yes, You see, there is this concept in Sierra Leone, and I'm a born Sierra Leonean, though I've spent a lot of my time out. But the reality is that when you talk about leadership, people just focus on politics, people in government. But there is leadership governance in all aspects, like my brother is talking about labor. The minister is not here, but there are some orders. There are stakeholders that are handling, different aspects. For example, you have in Sierra Leone, you have the anti-corruption, you have the FIU, the Financial, Intelligence Unit, you have the Interpol, you have the Ministry of Justice, you have people that are in the immigration, people that are in the airport. When you talk about, for example, like money laundering, when you cross-bordering, you cannot cross a border without meeting immigration officers, and there are leaders there. So the focus here is actually how to get them effective in combating financial crime, because you can't commit crime without a large number of collaborating factors. So that is where you have to look at one, terrorism financing, you look at money laundering, you look at tax evasion, mispricing, insider trade, market manipulations. So there are a lot of things that comprises that whole thing. So
according to your research, what did you find out when it comes to the leadership aspect of some of these key players?
They have not been effective, either because one, they are part of the crime, or two, their friends or court are part of the crime. So because of that, and they are benefiting indirectly or directly, therefore they may not be active.
Financial crime is a very expensive enterprise.
Yeah.
The proceeds are high,
yeah,
and those who are involved most times are highly placed or highly connected people.
Yeah, and that's where the PEP comes in. That's what we call the politically exposed persons. These are people that are powerful in power. And also, when you look at, if you specify that into money laundering, for example, that has a 3-layer, the placement, the layering, and the integration, right? You discover that if someone is trying to hide the resources or the proceeds, they will kind of put it into either like banking it somewhere, or send it somewhere, and then they'll kind of and layering it like into, one place to another, and then try and integrate it into like business. This is where I think it's important for the Minister of Trade, the Minister of Justice, and including labor. If someone, for example, is coming, okay, the country is looking for investors, but one of the problems we are not trying to deal with is, who are these investors?
Background check.
The background check, which we call the KYC. We call it the know your customer. The bank deals with that, even though I don't know how effective it is. But that's what we call the KYC, know your customer. And then we call another aspect is called the CDD, is a customer due diligence. So when you are dealing with people, you need to understand, one, where they're coming from, where they get their money from, right? What kind of people are they, before you can allow them to operate. Because most times people use business as an entry point to launder monies from nations and countries. So you discover that this is a serious business for us in Africa, and that is more the reason why my book centered around the African Continental Free Trade. Because when you look at the African Continental Free Trade, number one, the initiative is good, the market is large. We have 1.3 to 1.4 billion people in Africa, and then we are the second largest, after Asia, the continent of Africa. And then the 2036 program that the African Continental Free Trade has is so good for markets, competing with the global force like WTO and others. But then, if this area, which we call the gray area, are not dealt with, the intention might be good, but the realization of it will be challenging. And that is where we need the effective engagement of the leaders. Because one, you from the top presidency right down to all leaders that occupies positions that matters should be mindful of their responsibility, that they are given a position of trust in order to prevent certain,
Okay, financial crimes, terrorism, and war, they are most times intertwined, they are interrelated. For example, look at the war in Sierra Leone. It was not caused by diamond, but diamonds helped fear the war. The proceeds of diamonds were used to buy arms, and those arms were shipped to the RAF, and the RAF used those arms to fight the war. They fight also to control the diamond areas. They got all of the diamond, they sent them to Liberia through President Taylor sold, and so financial crime and war, and of recent time terrorism, are also intertwined. What did you find out in the context of West Africa, for example? Well, limited to that, or Sierra Leone context?
Yeah, well, I don't want to. If you read my book, it's actually not pointed at a particular country; it's the entire African Union. Now, if you look at what is happening now, let's take in the case of South Sudan, the Somalia and other places. Let's take the Seacoast, where you have these people that kidnap people.
The
Somaliland and all this. The reason for that is simple: having the proceed from crime. And why is it important for us to look at these issues? Because this proceed is what they use to fuel the crime. They fuel terrorism, wars. Because when there is war, there is easy transporting of either money, arms, and all these things. So the foundation here is that this is the channel that fuel one terrorism, fueling rebel war, fueling trafficking. So financial crime is actually detailing to that aspect. So when you go to that, you see all these things explained. So they're using this as a means of fueling terrorism, fueling, human trafficking, like the man from Labour was talking about foreign, that is what we call also invasion. What about tax invasion? What about mispricing, right? What about offshore companies, which we call shell companies? Like I gave you an example of super advertisers that came in and robbed our people. They established a company in the name of a company, but if we have done due diligence, we would have discovered that this is one of the Ponzi schemes that robs our nation. What they do, you can see that they will register their company, they will give you board of directors, but they're only existing on paper. You see, they only use what we call errand boys, but you can't actually trace the actual owners of the country, this company. So that is like a transit, either one for invasion of tax, or for the management of tax. Sometimes shell companies may not be bad at all point. If like those who have these larger companies, they can set up a shell company to manage their tax, so they can have an appropriate return. But those who set it for criminal reasons, they can undervalidate, so their returns will not be exact as they are making. So they are criminalizing the country. Now, when you look at that,
so there comes in the effectiveness.
Yes.
The tax institution.
Tax institution. That's where the leadership of the tax institution should be effective, because when their tax is not fully accounted for, then it becomes tax invasion. So that is part of financial crime. So it is a serious business.
Okay. Now, what about? Because when you look at some of, for example, the issue of money laundering, sometimes they have international backers.
Oh yes, and I was asking last year. I was in Lagos doing a presentation on money laundering. There was a summit with IFO&A and the risk governance management system in Lagos, and I was asking this question: if money, for example, $1 left Sierra Leone, where does that dollar go? It goes to one of those countries. Either it falls in Sweden, America, UK, and other places. So it's a huge network. And you have powerful people. That's why we need a powerful system in order to track them down. And now, I will give you an example. I've been studying trips of leaders in Africa. They can invite either a minister or a president to go for a conference. The president, for example, may just need a handful of people to guide like his protocols and other people. But why the need 400 people? And everyone is carrying luggage. It might be a system of layering. If I'm to travel $1 million, it's easier. Just give one portfolio to one person. They'll cross with it into other country and just put that money into somewhere else, right? Because this diplomatic immunity, not all that are checked. So there are a lot of things here. So it's a serious business. But then, exactly. So if we get the civil society, let me just hammer that home, to understand these things, they'll be able to hold government accountable and other state institutions accountable, including the private sector. But like in my experience, I've been in the civil society before I left, and we only focused in on putting pressure on government, but the issues are there. that we're supposed to have actually be specializing on to engage the power that be or thematic issues. Exactly. So this makes you a specialized or a professional civil advocate when the issues are there. But the reason for advocacy is not to be attacking government, but to bring the issues on the table.
The issue of exactly. On financial crimes.
Yeah, exactly. So there is need for that huge, advocacy platform. So we can see the need, and that will also help government. Yeah, because I see a lot of pressure on government. People
did you review, according to your book, did you review the laws?
Yes, I know that the Sierra Leone have the anti-money laundering law passed in 2012, right? But I ask this question: how effective it is? How many people have been prosecuted? Yeah, and also that law, is it in consonance with the Gambia interagencies? The Gambia, there is what we call the GAIBA, right, which is part of Sierra Leone. Yeah, and secondly, you have the Financial Intelligence Unit. I've been going through actually their profiling. I see just skeleton, but there have not been detailed activities of what they have been doing in the area of Financial Intelligence Unit monitoring or problem. And then finally, how effective we are in coordinating with the FA. We have what we call the Financial Action Task Force, which is actually one of the biggest, coordinating agency that is networking with all countries around the world, including Africa. So until we are able to network both regionally, domestically, and internationally, we're still having financial problems. So this is the reason for that book.
Okay.
And there is another one coming, which is more. It's called Image Laundering and Identity Theft, which is so common.
Wow.
In school, in universities, in financial institutions, even in government, it's just too common. For example, you will see a man go to sit exam and he will carry your name. Yeah, probably there will be a space that you may not be interested in, or probably you've left or something happened to you. Someone say, okay, come, I'll give you this name. You go in, you come at home, the man is Paul, and you go to the school, is Joseph. You understand what I'm saying? So it is called image laundering. Somebody can use someone can use your name and then steal money in the bank. Yeah, they call it fishy. You may not know. Here, you'll be working here as a gentleman, a peaceful citizen. Someone is using your information, stealing money in the bank, and they'll be tracing you because the information you use is your information. So you see how detail is this.
Wow, continue to with us is the author of the new book titled The Need for Effective Leadership in Combating Financial Crime in the African Union Continental Free. The program is Podium. We are going for a short break. After the break, the program continues. Later in the program, we are going to talk to the Medical Association as the association has given 21 days ultimatum to the government, and also the Anti-Corruption Commission for indicting some few people yesterday. Well, we shall talk more on that as the program comes back. The program is Podium. Well, we are back with the program Podium, which is coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. The Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association has in a press release clarified the association's decision to extend 21 working days ultimatum issued concerning the field allocation to medical doctors. The extension is for the Ministry of Health to formalize the promises it made during a meeting between the executive and relevant stakeholders at the Office of the Vice President. For more on this, we have in the studio Dr. Geraldine George, who is the PRO of SLMD. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
What's the status so far?
So we're still awaiting the commitment from the Ministry of Health. Following the meeting we held at the Honorable Vice President's office on Tuesday last week, there were some verbal agreements and discussions. But considering the association's past experiences with getting promises that have been made verbally being carried out and getting back and forth about, oh no, this was not how it was said. Following a meeting with the association, we decided to extend the 21 days by another 7 working days to allow the Ministry of Health to put those commitments in writing so that the association has something to hold on to. There were 4 that we sent in the letter. First was for the ministry to give us a date that the 3rd and 4th quarters of year was going to be paid. Let me also say that this was never a request from the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. Our request was for the 1st and 2nd quarters, which has been paid with the exception of about 6 colleagues, which are yet to receive for that. The ministry, as a way of appeasing the association, and in their letters they stated as a form of goodwill, promised the 3rd and 4th quarter. The PETS forms were signed in our presence, and the Minister of Finance confirmed that they already have money. So that was verbally communicated. We said, okay, we're not in a hurry. The 3rd quarter is just completed. We are still in the 4th quarter, so we have no right to demanding this, and we understand that. But if this is what you're promising us, can you at least just give us a date? Is it 31st of December? Something, so that we don't come harassing you. It's just there. That is.
But
that was one.
One would say the glove is already half full.
So that is what I'm saying. The 3rd and 4th quarter was never requested by the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association. Yeah. So that was requested, that was put forward from the Minister of Health and Minister of Finance, that money is available for that to be paid. And that is an entitlement. We cannot say, okay, no, we do not want it. So we said, okay, if this is available, it's fine. If it's not, we're also okay, because we'll never ask for 3rd and 4th quarter. We just said, if that is okay, just give us a day so that we don't come harassing you. And that the few colleagues who are left for the 1st and 2nd quarter should get their fuel. That was 2. The 3rd was, we have medicals, doctors who just graduated last year. They've been home for 14 months. They were not employed. So they just started working October this. So that means they qualify for the 4th quarter. But given that the verified list that the Ministry of Health already has does not include those doctors, it was agreed that a supplementary list will be made for them, even if it's next year. But a supplementary list will be made. There are 75 of them. That was the 3rd point. And going forward, since the Ministry of Finance had stated categorically that it cannot commit that fuel will be paid according to the time that we gave, like 2 months after each quarter, that it depends on the revenue collected and the availability of funds, which we understand. We said, and they promised to prioritize that. So what we agreed on was forming a committee comprising of Ministry of Health officials, Ministry of Finance officials, Labor and Employment Ministry, and the SLMD, to make sure we follow up on these processes so that it's gotten. So of those 4 things, when we got the reply from the ministry 2 days after a letter was sent, it was only the committee that was addressed, that was formed. The other 3 were not penned down. And that brings us back to square one. Like, is it the same thing that will come, we'll discuss something, and it is a problem to get it down on paper?
But the ministry will say government does not operate like that. I'm sure government will want to keep to his words, to his promise.
We have not been having those promises being kept to. Unfortunately, let me state that. That is one of the reasons why we're here. There's the issue of trust between the association and the ministry based on past experiences. Even in this fuel allocation issues, there have been miscommunications, information spread that we found out were contrary to what was really happening. So that is the position of the association. It is not like a back and forth, just say this is what we agreed, and that's it.
What has been the response of the ministry?
So we received that letter asking for a representative to form the committee and the terms of reference of that committee and the members. That was it. And in the letter we are reminded about Hippocratic oath and the civil service conduct, and the letter referred to our initial letter as being adversarial, which we found rather unfortunate, because it brought us to the point that, okay, maybe it's possible we could share these letters for other opinion to see what is adversarial in this in this letter. We just had a discussion. We just asked gently and humbly that it be penned down. And that is the reason why the executive convinced the members to extend. Some members were of the opinion that we should start the strike whilst we are getting the response. But the association and the executive in particular, we're looking at the bigger picture. Who are those who suffer the most? The public.
So the 7 days commence when?
It commenced on Wednesday.
Wednesday last week?
Yes, please. So it should end on Thursday tomorrow.
So after tomorrow, if nothing happens?
So then there will be a sit-down strike on Friday. So we replied again. So let me just say, after we got the letter from the ministry, we sent another reply to say, we accept, we acknowledge the receipt of your letter, and it was timely. Like we acknowledge a quick response, but we just want to bring to your notice that there were 4 points. This letter only addressed 1, so please look forward to addressing the 3, so that the strike can be called off. So we have till midnight tomorrow, Thursday, to receive word back from the minister.
Do you think that was strike action? A laid down of tools?
Yes. Do you know? Let me state that, because unfortunately, doctors in Sierra Leone have come to realize, and that is the fact, that the only time they are taken seriously or listened to is when they threaten to hold back their services, because we know the implications, and it is unfortunate. We do not have to get to that point. I think
so. You guys are also using that as a bargaining chip?
We are not at all. So that is why we even got to this point. The fuel allocation for first and second quarter we received in October. That is 10 months down the line. Like nobody had. There was no riots. There was no threat about a strike action. So that was when we issued the 21 days, and the fuel was paid. We just want the agreement that was made in the presence of all other stakeholders to be put down on paper for future references.
Okay, thank you very much, Geraldine. Continue to be with us. I will come to you later. Let's now go to the ACC, where the Anti-Corruption Commission has indicted 3 officials of EcoBank, including the head of retail operations, of 147 counts of corruption, including suspicious transactions, misleading information, and acquiring unlawful public property. According to the ACC, the former head of retail operations, on diverse dates in March 2022 and October 2023, diverted tax revenues of NRA to the bank account of an individual of over 17 million leons, and it was paid by companies including Oxfam, FG Gold, and Connex Hub Hotel, where this action raised suspicion on the amount of money in the accounts of these individuals. Well, this is not the first time individuals working for banks have taken part in diverting government monies to where they are not supposed to be diverted to. Well, for more on that, we have in the studio Patrick Sandy, who is the spokesperson of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
This is something, sir.
I'm pleased to.
You're welcome, sir. This is something the public has long been waiting for. Now, finally, the indictment has been made. Have you guys laid hand on the said individuals?
Oh, certainly yes. Because even at the time we commenced investigations, all those who were persons of interest who were brought in and on bail, and since they have been charged, we have served them the indictment. So they are within grips, and very soon they will be arraigned. So I also want to add that even the bank itself was charged, not only the staff. So
in this matter, the bank has been indicted, and its worker has also been indicted.
Yeah, certainly. Salim, yes. Salim, who is the banker, as you've stated, at the bank, was now playing a very pivotal role, whereby these payments that are made by the organizations you've named, Atlantic Alumni Hotel, Hub Hotel, Connex, etc., we are making these payments meant for NRA, but he served as the source for which these monies could not actually get into the NRA account at the bank, but rather paid into these individuals' account, such as Talu and Magnus, so amounting to over 17 million or billion leons. So that's basically the point. So as a result, you find out that the fact that the bank itself as an institution could not report these suspicious transactions to the FIA because they have the mandate to do that, they did not, and also they could not do due diligence on the accounts of these individuals because the monies were going into this account quite regularly and they were huge.
What about NRA itself?
Well, the point is,
what's the role of NRA? Because they know these are their clients, and they set businesses, and these businesses are supposed to pay a certain amount of taxes, and NRA knows that each month or each year we are supposed to receive a certain amount of money from Connect, from this and that. So what's the role of NRA in all of this also?
No, basically, when you look at NRA, they were quite cooperative, and in fact, they were helpful in the process. To kind of identify these challenges, and we were not able to realize that such monies had not gone into NRA.
Was it they who blew the whistle?
Well, I would not say so, because we have to protect our sources of information. But the fact of the matter is that they were very cooperative in the investigations and even in all what we do.
So in the investigations, you found nothing wrong from the NRA side?
Well, from the investigations at the stage of conclusion, we could not find anything.
That sounds strange.
It should, but it should not also, because as a matter of fact, you firstly would want to know whether even NRA issued receipts in that respect, and receipts were not issued. Because if you want to really see how they either could have conspired or colluded, is for instance, we say we have made X payment, and then those X payments are acknowledged by NRA, then you begin to see, and the
so when did the NRA know that these said clients have not been paying taxes, or they've paid but the payments had been diverted to private accounts?
Well, basically, we got the information at a stage where I cannot determine, or the agency cannot determine when they knew, but it was brought to attention that these payments have not been done for a period of time. I cannot now say when they picked it up, but we came in and realized that yes, these institutions have not made payments in actual fact to NRA. So going into it with our forensic investigators, we were now able to know that the money has been diverted to individuals, but rather these agents or institutions were actually paid, and when they were paying these monies on the checks of different banks for NRA. For instance, it's EcoBank, but you can make the payment for NRA on a check of GT Bank, because that's where you have your own account, or SSC, that's where you have an account. So Salim will now at EcoBank, who is to do the credit, will say, no, we are not able to have this thing done, we cannot scan the check, so instruct your bank to remit money in X account, which will not now be in an NRA account, but rather individual B bank.
What about the client himself, the businesses themselves? When they were told to remit this money in certain accounts, didn't they know that they were sending the money to the wrong accounts?
No. It is not the client or the institutions. They have already written the check. It is now EcoBank that will call the bank on whose check they have, not the institution again. They are going to call the bank. For instance, we have a GT Bank check here with us, and the check value is this. So rather, I deduct this money or amount of money from this account we have here into this account. So the relationship was not from the agents again now giving the instructions. It is EcoBank.
What about those other banks? Did you investigate them?
No, basically it was just instructions that they were to move on. But I mean, you are giving the details. From EcoBank, you give the details to the bank. We have this check.
Did they go beyond the instructions given to them by EcoBank? Did they go to their client to say, because normally, for example, if you go to the bank now and you want to cash, let's say around 15, 20 or 30 million, you issue a check. Most times they will try to verify to know whether that check is authentic.
That's what I'm saying. It was done. You see, what was actually happening, now I know, but what was actually happening, if we are to get the picture clearly, it was now a relationship between EcoBank and the bank in question on whose check EcoBank has, which the institution has issued. So it was no longer the time for you to get to the institution to say basically whether it is an actual account you are going to pay. You have written the check, say pay NRA, and you have submitted this to EcoBank. EcoBank has issued you a pay slip, so to speak, that you pay extra money, but they cannot be able, according to Salim, to credit NRA, but rather will now call the bank. So the bank do not have any responsibility to begin again to further check, and it is EcoBank now giving the instructions that pay it into this account. So it was not necessarily for now the GT Bank.
How long did this go for?
It went for a period of time, because for between the period of March 2022 and October 2023, according to that was happening.
And what I wonder,
Certainly.
And the bank will pick that up.
And yeah, well, that's the issue. That's why even the Eco Bank as well, we are charging, because these are transactions we are supposed to have been report to the FIA. And for the very first time, we are also charging under the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating Corruption or Terrorism Act. We are being joined, anti-corruption and that of the Anti-Money Laundering Act. So we are charging under those because they fail to report such suspicious transactions. And also, within the banking system, you realize that if this kind of money is going into a particular account, for instance, 500,000, 500 million in old news, 500 million, probably weekly, you should be able to flag it and ask questions around it, or you bring it to the attention of the FIA, who can as well intervene to see what is happening. But it definitely shows that things were not going on properly.
Okay, Paul, I mean, there's a nexus here between what ACC have just done and
you know,
the work you've done.
Exactly. I was just like at least admiring at what my colleague there, my landed brother from the ACC was saying. You know, that's the essence of that book. You know, he has put this link, that's the nexus between financial crime, well, like anti-money laundering, and as he was saying concerning EcoBank. You know, the bank have the law that there is this KYC I just spoke about, you know, which is you know your customer, and then the CDD, you know, the customer due diligence. If they had done it, they should have picked this earlier on, that there is a fishy deal going on, right? But let me show you something. You can't do this without the insider trade. That is a network, either from the operation, you know, you're taking it from here to there. There is no point that money could have left that bank without some official knowing where that money was going, right? Now, maybe they were able to get, they are unable to get the other layer, right? If they do more, they will get the other layer. That is like you have asked some critical question, you know. Maybe you say, okay, NRA is clear, but then NRA waited for more than 1 year, right? And then they know that these payments are supposed to have been coming to them either monthly.
Sure.
They're supposed to have the system to track. So we call it tracking and recovery.
Sure.
Tracking and recovery. So this is why my advocacy goes to the corruption, the anti-corruption network, that they are so, like I said, within the 7 layers of financial crime, they focus on one, which is bribery and corruption. Now he has brought in another one from anti-money laundering and terroristic financing, and this falls under financial crime. That's where my book focused.
There is an interesting thing here. I mean, it's the crime, the alleged crime for now went on for almost 1 year, 6 months or so. Yes. And I'm still, NRA sat there without checking whether these clients connects or whatever and what have you, because I'm sure they know each client that pays to them. They know that, for example, it's been 1 year now, we've not been receiving, money has not been coming directly to the NRA account. Where have these monies gone? These are critical questions that I should have asked, and the ACC should have asked those questions.
No, yes. You see, ask me, I am not denying what you're saying. These are things you ask. But how do you now go about to get culpability to be able to charge? What we can think, what we can say is difficult to know we can prove. And firstly, I just mentioned, if there would have been any document or anything to show that somebody had receipted for these monies we are talking about, then therein you talk about conspiracy. And this is not the first time. Let me just mention that the ACC has investigated EcoBank of the corruption matter. The Qatar issue of the Maxim account. I recall at that time I was the manager in McKinney, whereby payments were made in the name of NRA, but what was happening was those funds were diverted into an account which was a clearing and forwarding account created by people who were at the bank. And when these checks come at the bank, because they were in such a high value, they will write on it is manager's check. So even if it is Patrick Sandy, go and pay Patrick Sandy, they will pay it into Arsenal account because the manager has endorsed it and they have that threshold where they say manager's check. So that is the problem. So, that was the time.
So what have you now?
I'm still coming to this. There was also another payment done by ADAX, by Energy at the time I said I was in market. Could you imagine the staff of NRA at that time? It was 50 million, old bills, 50 million at that time, entered 50,000 in the cash book. So that person was held culpable as an NRA staff. So you have to trace all of this. He received the money, but the value he understated, and he was convicted. But in this case, it is different. But myself and you will think very well that these things could not happen as you are putting it. For instance, you have this person to be paid monthly or pay. Why did you not raise it? Or did you raise a flag? Or was it that person sanctioned for non-compliance, if at all? Or what steps did you take to have it done? But all of this we can say. But I'm saying this thing, since it was brought to us, it was not at that time. It is being presented to us that they realize that something was not happening.
Ask me, please, before I forgot.
Just 1 minute, let me come to my other guest.
Okay.
Just a few seconds.
Okay, yes. Before I forgot, that's where the compliance standard comes in. Yeah, there is what we call compliance mechanism in all banks and organizations. That is a governance and compliance system. Now, what we are explaining is like managing the already failed system. Now, when you refuse to review your compliance system, you won't be picking those things. Yeah. Now, you remember before you came in, we are talking about what we call shell corporations.
Yeah.
Now that's the game exactly from your explanation that EcoBank has played. They will now set another company referring to a payment that's supposed to go to Mr. A, to Mr. B, in a false pretense, like as if this is the rightful owner of the check, right? That is where the financial crime aspect comes in. So if we can just do like Nigeria, how they do? Okay, they have the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, but linking with an effective action plan to their Nigeria, anti-corruption watchdog. Yeah. They have a different name for that, the EFCC. Yeah, that is what I see to happen in Sierra Leone between anti-corruption and the FIU.
I think they
right?
They are
yeah. No, when I mean collaborate, it should be effective.
Okay.
You know, vis-a-vis, I know Sierra Leone collaborate. You know, quote and unquote. But I'm talking about effective collaboration, and there should be proactive measures to be able to catch those things, so they will help you and make your work easy.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much. Chibli, let me come to you again. Some of these new policies that the ministry has reviewed or has introduced, how long are we going to see them bear their fruits?
Well, for the National Labour Migration Policy, we've started implementing. So that's why I indicated earlier we ratified some international instruments. But in addition to the policies, also I have with me here the Industrial Relations and Trade Union Act. Industrial relations, basically the relationship that exists between employers and workers in various workplaces, unions. My sister there was talking about strike action. There are procedures for strike, etc. Notifying the employer. There's a new one saying Section 63, notify the employer. Unionize workers for that matter through their general secretary, etc. So this is one thing that is going to change the labor and employment landscape in the world of work in Sierra Leone to make it a better place. So we also have a couple of laws that are coming, all that will add to improving the way we work in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. As we go, we don't have much time left. By tomorrow midnight, if in your own words, if nothing changes, then you guys will be left with no option but to take off your gloves. And that will be very dire.
We know. That is why we were ready to be engaged. We know the implications. Nobody can tell us. We know better than anybody else. That is why we made ourselves available to be engaged, to discuss before we go to this point. If somebody had told us that what we discussed in the Vice President office will not be penned down and will not have received that letter, we'll be surprised. We'll have been, because we thought, oh, that was the end of the
So nobody took minutes of the meeting?
So our secretary did. So for the other people were writing probably, but our secretary, we have minutes of the meeting on our own side. So if somebody had told us that we'll not have those points just penned down, that's just to present to the association because as an executive, our role is to guide the association in the right path. That is why we have managed to stall the process up to this time. You cannot imagine how aggrieved some of our members are, but as an executive, we've managed the situation.
You know, there are also laws guiding how strikes actions are normally taken. Have you followed them?
Yes, please. So
just now you had
the 21.
That will come to you.
Yeah, so we issued a 21 days, which ended last week Wednesday.
Okay.
And even after, because we had a fruitful deliberation on the vice president, to our own point, we thought it was fruitful and we thought that was the end. So instead of, without getting those down, instead of say, okay, we'll start the strike, which should have started on Wednesday, we give an extension, because we're also told that was also followed. There is another 7 days. We give an extension of 7 days just to allow that to be penned down.
Okay.
And from that time, doctors have
just few seconds.
Yes, we have to be clear here. I was part of that meeting.
Okay.
And
in the vice president's office.
Yes, and as far as I know it, except otherwise, the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association comprise workers who are also in the private sector. And then, if you go for a negotiation, you have to allow time for negotiation. If they've established a committee, I think that is key. What the Sierra Leone Medical and Dental Association need to do is to make sure they have representation on that committee and they continue to engage. Because even in the case of unions who have the legal status to strike.
Don't they have the legal status?
Well, I don't know. They are not a union. It's an association. There's a difference between an association and a union. If you tell me you are a union, I will ask you, where is your collective bargaining certificate?
So association, don't they have right?
Well, what I will say here now, those days of industrial relations, 16th, 17th century industrial relations, if you check the history of industrial relations, that is not how we practice it now. You engage in social dialogue, because strike, even professors will tell you, professors of industrial relations will tell you, strike is not beneficial for the employer, it's not beneficial for the worker, it's not beneficial for the entire populace.
Thank you.
So let them continue to engage so that this justice can be done. That will be good for all of them.
Of trust here.
Well, that is why the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security is part and parcel of this arrangement now.
Okay, thank you.
To make sure that justice is done.
Just 5 seconds. When are these people and EcoBank going to have their day in court?
I will say very soon. It is now with the judiciary. The Chief Justice will assign the matter, and then they will be arraigned. Once they are arraigned, I'm sure the public will know about it, and we want to see justice served, because these are monies meant for the people of Sierra Leone. Monies that are for the NRA, we know they are public money. That's the more reason why you see in the indictment we said the misappropriation of public revenue. So these are monies that could be put into a lot of other things. Now we are talking about the Sierra Leone Medical Dental, talking about fear. These monies could be put, government we know is challenged with resources. So a lot of things can happen. So we need those resources.
Okay. Paul, how is the book going to be accessed?
The book is everywhere. You can access that at Amazon, eBay, Barnes & Noble. If you just dial on the Google, you will see Google book everywhere around the world. That book is everywhere. And with other books, I think I've written almost about 11 books.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's how we end this edition of the podium. He is the author of the book, The Need for Effective Leadership in Combating Financial Crime in the African Union Continental Fleet. Well, that's how we end this edition. Thanks to all my guests and the rest of the production team, led by my producer, Salman Taba. I've been your host, Asimi Bati. We'll join you again tomorrow. God bless you. Goodbye.